find you a seat. Grab yourself a cup of joe and put up your feet. Let's talk about the latest news and all about true crime. We can make a difference if we put in the time. Good evening, come and find you a seat. Grab yourself a cup of joe and put up your feet. Let's talk about the latest news and all about true crime. We can make a difference if we put in the time. If we put in the time. Good evening, come and find you a seat. Grab yourself a cup of joe and put up your feet. Let's talk about the latest news and all about true crime. We can make a difference if we put in the time. Good evening.
Good evening. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Did we see you last Tuesday? Are we going to see you next Tuesday?
We cult to the see you next Tuesday. Yeah, interchangeable, the L and the N.
Mm-hmm. And equally applicable to certain people that may have been extradited to Idaho this week.
She's going to look. I made this goofy title up, right? And it says Ledger of a Lifetime. Lori leaves Arizona to live out her lifetimes. Okay. I'll be here all week. Boom. Okay.
All of her lifetimes, all at once. No, are they consecutive or concurrent? They're not concurrent. They're consecutive.
I wonder if that song, I finally found the love of a lifetime. I wonder if when she sings that about Chad, if she's like, I finally found the love of like seven lifetimes. Dun, dun, dun. Anyways.
And she's a woman, so she asked the question, is that enough? Is 7 lifetimes enough? She'd ask that of Chad. If I love you for all 7 of my lifetimes, will that ever be
right?
Enough?
I know that's what she did to Bresky. Is that what you want? you did what you sought out to do. Obviously, that's how a court of law works, dum. You know, like she is a conspiratorial little person, little convict. 153745 is Lori's number, and you have to dial the area code, which is 666. Okay. And that's it. That's her phone number. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Kresha. Welcome in.
Hey, Nat. Hey, Joe. So, where are we going to today?
I'm going to find out real quick.
Tammy says 666-666-6666. It's a victory for Satan, right?
That's true.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Oh, they reduced what? They reduced the number of life terms they have her serving in Idaho since I checked it this morning.
No.
Oh, that's Chud. That's Chud.
Yeah, he's
because they have her. They don't have her under Daybell. Did you know that?
Oh, she's got to go combattle it over there too.
Yes.
She's been doing, look, we've been doing this since the very first hearing. Well, in Idaho. Like, I forget the 2 hearings she went to in Hawaii. You know, I don't remember much of those. But whenever she was extradited to Idaho, She walked in the courtroom. She was strutting her stuff, shoulders back, nose up in the air, like she just doesn't care. And in front of my parents, in front of her son, in front of Kelsey, in front of everybody, in front of the world. And she sits down with Mark Means and the other lady. I don't know. She looks like Wednesday. At the defense table, and what do you want to go by? And she's like, Lori Daybell. And we're like, oh my God. Everybody had that same reaction, I'm sure.
Yeah, so she is Idaho Department of Corrections inmate number 153745. Her current status is in custody. Her mailing address is Pocatello Women's Correctional Center, Unit 3.
You know, Lori went from primary to prison, and she went from families of forever to finding her forever home. Just lifetime of ledger of lifetime. Just it's so corny poetic. Okay.
Yeah, and so that confuses me. So say that your uncle hadn't been unalived, say that he had survived somehow miraculously, and they had a huge custody dispute, and then she ended up, I don't know how that would have turned out, but say he were alive right now and they divorced, but they had been sealed together in the temple, and he went and he got remarried to somebody like Nancy Joe, and they got sealed together in the temple.
Yeah, I don't even try. I've seen members try to do the mental gymnastics this takes, and yeah, so I don't even go there.
Yeah. Well, my dad is a good example, because he married my mother before I was born, and they joined the church a little bit after I was born, and we all got sealed in the temple together as a family. I can actually remember it in my mind. I was like 2 years old, and it's probably my earliest memory of us sitting around that little cushion thing. And
I wonder if it traumatized you.
I don't know. What traumatized me was we got sealed in the Mesa, Arizona temple.
Holy shit, that's evil. Well, whatever some of these people are doing in there is evil for sure.
Okay. There was a cactus outside of it, and I pricked my finger on one of those little cactus needles. That traumatized me.
There you go.
My dad's like, don't touch it, and I touched it anyway, and it hurt.
Were you a sign seeker? Because that was it. But it's like, oh my gosh, here's your sign. Here's your sign.
Yeah, but anyway, so my mother, who I am technically sealed to in a temple in a ceremony, and I remember holding hands in a certain right time and all eternity. When you get sealed in the temple, it is for time and all of eternity. We held our hands in a particular way when I was a kid and we got sealed in the temple. I particularly remember that. Like I can see it in my mind, kneeling around that cushion. So anyway, she died in a car crash in '99. And he got remarried a little while later, and I think he got sealed to my stepmom too, although I don't know that for a fact. I wasn't there and I didn't ask, but I would imagine that they got sealed also. So who spends eternity with whom? Well,
I'll tell you how it works for your dad. Your dad is what they would call a spiritual polygamist. So just like Oaks, President Oaks, him being sealed to two different women, you got to think about, or was it President Nelson? Or it might be both. Hell, I don't know. There's quite a few. But it's like they don't require a man to unseal or something like that. Let me think about this for a second. But the man doesn't have to. So he can stay sealed to two different women, because I've heard many members complain about this and be hurt by this. The second wife is like, what? Like, whose name are you gonna call?
That I guarantee you that's how my mom would be. She'd be like, what?
Yeah. Oh, you better marry the same damn name woman that they give you in the temple. Don't think, Joe, that I did not go and look on, it's called the Fuller site, Fuller. I forget the rest of it, but it's like the Fuller. Anyways, you go there and it tells you every temple name for every man and woman for every day of the year in every temple. So all across the world, let's say your mom and dad went to the temple to seal, they were issued names, new names, right? And So I went because James and Elena, I was like, oh hell, please let me find James and Elena on somewhere in the 2019. It's like a chart and you can go and figure out who's whose name is what. So there is a cheat sheet.
Yeah, but there are only so many names you can come up
They
with.
use the same one across, the same one for a girl, the same one for a guy across the world every day. Like
Oh,
for
okay.
this day, August 19th, it'll be James and Elena. Okay. Then tomorrow it'll be Bathsheba and
Bob.
whatever. Nephi. No, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. So it
Bob,
depends on
right?
what day you attend, like that secret
Yes.
decombination coda ring you have to have.
Right. And only the man has it. Like she doesn't, does she know her name? Like women? Wait, I'm like losing touch here. I mean, I studied this shit for 6 years, so it's like I got to think about that for a minute. I don't know, but there were a lot of Sarahs. I do remember hearing that there
Yeah.
were a lot of Sarahs. But I looked for like Phoebe. You know how Melanie Gibbs' name was Phoebe. How Melanie Boudreaux Pulaski, her name was Miriam. How Audrey Baratero, hers was Joanna. I'm trying to think of their names. I can't keep up with their regular names, much less all the extra ones. Because I thought that was part of figuring out this whole weird shit.
Yeah,
What is this
and
system here?
that's part of the weird ship, weird
That too.
shit on a weird ship.
Stay on the boat. Stay on the boat.
So Deborah asks if I lived in Mesa. No, we drove across the country. We lived in Indiana, and we drove across the country to get
Wow.
sealed in the Mesa, Arizona temple. I have no idea why. I was too young to be involved in that decision or even remember hearing the discussion, but we drove across the country when I was like 2 or 3 years old to get sealed in the Mesa temple.
That is freaking interesting. Was it just for fun? What was it like a goal? Well, you don't know, you were two.
Yeah. And eventually my grandmother, so my mom's mother, moved out to Arizona with one of my aunts, one of her daughters, one of my mom's sisters, but it was well after that. So I don't know. I don't even know how many Mormon temples there were in the world at that point in time, but there had to have been one closer than Mesa, Arizona.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. I would think.
Yeah, that's a 25-hour drive with two little
yeah.
kids in the car. And I think I remember pictures. I think we actually had a VW bug at the time. So I think we drove like across the country in a VW bug with a family of 4. I don't think my little sister was born yet. She was born in 73. So that's close, but I don't think she was born yet. But in a VW bug across the country to get
Punch
sealed in the
buggy,
temple.
no return. Right. Oh my gosh. Wow. Chad's mom, she also drove a bug back when before he was born, and I just remember reading in his book, If It Was Not a Lie. Anyways.
They were little
I'm
cars.
sure a lot of people drove them. My best
Yes.
friend's sister, she drove one.
Yeah.
They're really cool. They're different for sure.
Yeah, and that was after World War II, so it was okay. You could drive.
Yeah. I had a Volkswagen Jetta, and it was badass. I loved it. I miss it. It was a diesel too, but then it crapped out because they sold us bad engines. It was like a class action lawsuit and all kinds of crap.
Anyway. Oh, really? With the Jettas?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
the diesel powered.
Okay.
I was like, God dang it, I love my little black car. I don't know. It was a good car until that. So was it a good? It's like saying Lori was a good mom. And then you're like, was she though?
Can we get a recall on that? Can we get a recall?
Yeah, they did a recall. But it still left me on at a car wash. Actually, I had to pull into a car wash and park it there. I was like, okay, well.
The state of Idaho issued recall. She's back.
Oh, yeah. Forever home. Her forever home. I just picture, I'm telling you, the way she talks about heaven being busy, I I know how Lori and her friends they project. And so I'm just like, I picture her doing like all these crafts, just playing bingo and just staying busy like a retirement home or something. It just doesn't feel like prison over there for me. It feels like prison when she's in Arizona. And so I am a little saddened by that. I wish she was still there. Now, one thing about Lori too is that she hates the cold. So, okay, it's a win-win there, you know, because Idaho gets cold AF, whereas Arizona does not. So,
yeah, not in Maricopa County, especially.
But it does in Idaho. It gets really cold, and so maybe she frees her ass off. Okay.
I think it speaks volumes that she begged Judge Bareski when it came to her mitigating or what's the opposite of mitigating factors for sentencing, whatever that was.
Stipulation.
Yes, and she stipulated, and she's just like, "Hey, I just want to get out of here as soon as possible." Basically,
she's like, "Yeah, yeah, okay." And then I'm like, "That's where you don't piss the judge off, ma'am. That's where you're zero. This has zero effects on me." That's where that little speech over and over again probably didn't work in your favor, ma'am. You know, she's not a very smart person. She's manipulative as hell, and that might give her the appearance of being smart, but she's not. She's a control freak who's been controlled her whole life and then trying to control everybody else. And so here we are. Undealt with childhood trauma.
So Salty says Idaho prisons have lawsuits because of inadequate heat.
Oh my God. All she has to do is open her mouth, you know. With all those hotheads there, it should warm up a degree or two. We might want to watch out for, global warming. You know, might kick it up a couple notches with Koberger, Chad, and Lori there. Oh my God. Oh, they might want to go
in here.
Hey, Caitlin. They might want to go running into their bunkers, you know, all those hotheads there. Okay, I'm just being corny now. I'm sorry.
Corny. That's what the C people.
Yeah, corny. Corny.
So, hi, Salty. Hi, Caitlin. Deborah, life artist. Native AZ girl. Hey.
Native AZ girl. I saw your comment. Where was I at? Oh my gosh. Oh, because the sheriff, Maricopa County Sheriff's Office, has a YouTube channel, and they published this, like Lori's video of her extradition, and they have a whole channel. And I'm like, what? This is pretty cool. You know, they show you different things. I'll pull it up. But that's where I saw she commented, so I liked it. So you would know I was there.
AZ. Let's see. Ryan's in here. Natalie Huber. Hi, Natalie.
Hey, Natalie. How's the family? I need to go visit y'all. Me and Jason, and you know what I mean. They're right here. They're family.
Kathy Davis. Huggy Bear.
Mm-hmm.
Good to see you as always. Now I'm really scrolling up. Bipolar Express.
I love that name. I do every time I see it on web sleeves for sure.
And of course, Pammy. Always good to see Pammy in here. Spinster, Denise.
Hey, Spinster. Hey, Denise. Hey, everybody. Rachel. I'm just gonna say hey, everybody.
Yeah, I think I hit most of everybody. Rachel's all the way back up at the top, just after Pammy. Pammy made it in first.
Oh wow.
And Butterfly is coming in now. Hey, did you find that site yet? Because I do have the.
Can you do the other one first?
Nadine, yeah, I can do Nadine's first. All right. If I didn't close it out, because sometimes I do that. Nope, there we go. I didn't close it out. It's a miracle.
I know you can do it. Yay. Okay.
And there's no signal.
Extradited early Monday morning. Hi there, everybody. I'm Nate Eaton coming to you.
Okay, can you hear the sound? Or can you not?
Is he echoing?
Yes, he is, because
okay.
he's not playing. So I'm going to have to start over with that one.
Okay.
Because he's not playing through StreamYard. So StreamYard, we're going to have to find it all over again.
Huh. I wonder why you have so much trouble with StreamYard.
I'm going to blame it on the StreamYard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I don't doubt it. I wonder. Hey, Ryan Apple Snapple. Yeah, Ryan was at the sentencing too.
Really? Ryan? I bet I saw Ryan there.
Earlier, he said that from the Mesa area. So I just think it's really cool that you took the time out to show up and be there. And I'm just saying from my point of view, it means a lot. And so I thank you for that.
Yeah, that is really cool.
I thank Trace. I think Caitlin, and oh my gosh, I won't be able to remember everybody. So I'm just gonna say everybody. Like everybody that could show up, and in Idaho too. It's like it's just really special. I don't know. Not that everybody can. Hell, I couldn't. I mean, it costs a lot of money, and it's very emotionally freaking taxing. And yeah, but we did it. We got through it. We did it. We accomplished it. So I think I'm just realizing that. Okay. That's bad. I haven't even resonated with all these things yet.
Yeah, and you can take a breath. You can just take a breath and let it settle, right?
Which is strange. All right, Apple Snapple says, because it's StreamYard, it's worse than Windows 98 with dial-up AOL,
All right, let's see if the volume works this time. If it doesn't, then I may go through my laptop and the trash can or StreamYard.
I mean, I uploaded it too.
Yeah, it's not playing. It's not playing the audio right.
It is. It's just quiet right there.
Are you sure? Yeah. All right. Let me know.
Okay. See, you hear a chain. They're not talking or nothing. You don't hear her chain? I don't hear you now.
No, because I had to mute myself because it's coming through my laptop speakers instead of through my Bluetooth headphones.
Oh.
So gotcha. I muted myself so it doesn't echo.
Wait, isn't there a song called The Chain Gang or something? I just feel like something needs O.U.R. Sorry. I got locked up. How many freaking people does she need? Embarrassing too. It's freaking embarrassing.
That's why she has her nose in the air, because she's trying to pretend like it doesn't affect her.
Right here especially, she really raises it up. But this is how she always was. And her mom and dad. Look.
And that's how she was when Aunt Vicky
was it fresh air, maybe? I'm sorry. It just kind of caught me,
Right.
Just like the sun, whenever she was smiling up at the sky. That's my first impression. I was just like, oh, the sun. She bitched about not having the sunshine and how they'd give you a vitamin D after a year of incarceration here,
Yeah.
And so I wonder.
And that look that she's given to the guard, like it almost always looks like she's flirting or something.
She is. She's flirty spice. She's not wearing her wedding hairband. I noticed yesterday. I was like, oh. I don't know if maybe somebody stole her loot. I don't know. She didn't. She's not wearing it up in the high pony. Look at the flip flops.
I think, and I learned this recently, I think those are technically called slides.
Yeah. But I
Yes,
just
yeah.
think it's funny. It's like it's like karma because of how she
Yeah.
lied and
Right.
then shamed everybody for in the Arizona heat. I'm like, at what, 7:30 in the damn morning, hooker? It ain't that damn hot.
It's
You
not.
know?
Well, I mean, it is, but it's not.
Barefoot. Come on. And she
Yeah.
wasn't barefoot. She's a freaking liar. So she was shaming everybody for throwing her out, you know, basically. I don't know, just whatever.
Yeah, somebody that is not familiar with the case at all, has never heard of Lori Daybell at all in their entire life, asked me the other day, we were talking about this, about her, like, because I made eye contact with her a couple of times when we were in prison. And there's just not a look in her eyes of somebody that is being put on trial for conspiracy to unalive two people in their lives. Like, she just has, and I know it's going to drive somebody nuts, but she just has this air of nonchalance about her that she had from day one that your Uncle Charles was murdered. There's like, there is no remorse. There's no like recognition that a life and now multiple lives are taken. There's none of that there. There's no recognition of this, of the seriousness of the whole thing.
No substance, Joe. And I told you they project. And I came to that conclusion whenever I saw her walk in the courtroom. I was watching it on my big screen TV when she was extradited and showed up in Idaho. And when she walked in, she died that day to me because I did not recognize her. She was an empty carcass. Like, she was an empty shell. She was the zombie is how I termed it, because what they projected onto their victims is exactly what they're doing, what they're up to. And that's who she and Chad became, for sure. I didn't know Chad before, but he definitely has no substance, just like she has no substance. It's disgusting.
It is. It's disturbing and disgusting.
Yeah, look, right there. She's like,
One more time.
Well, I wonder where her damn laptop is from Mark Means. Remember that, y'all? When she was extradited from Idaho to Arizona and she was checking in, and I say checking in when they were, what do you say? What do you call that? Intake to the new prison in Arizona. And there was that laptop. And so I'm like, what would they do? Preload the laptop? Does it not go? Is it in evidence now? Can we get it? Can we have it? That would be cool.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. We talked about this before, how they've released so much stuff on Koberger, and I don't think we have near that percentage of stuff for Lori and Chad.
I did that today.
Oh,
well,
good.
I looked up all the things. And I'm like, okay, so this is what I got to do. I mean, not for Idaho. I did for Arizona, because I definitely want to find out. I mean, I don't know. I've never done it before, but there's a first time for everything.
You talking about a public records request?
Yeah. From the sheriff, for sure. From all of them, but from the sheriff, for sure.
Yeah. Let's get together, because I have them submitted, and I have submitted them, and I have had them responded to, and I've got a form letter that we can work on together. Like there was a case in Phoenix of the Phoenix PD responding to some kid that was beat and telling him that he should have been beat or something like that. So I got all the body worn cam for that. I haven't aired it yet because we've had all these other things going on, but it took them like 5 months to give me that body worn cam. I think I submitted it like in February.
Where is this from?
Phoenix PD.
Wow.
Yeah.
What about that? That just reminded me of the Lord, that kid that was murdered.
Preston Lord, yes,
Preston Lord.
and the Gilbert Goons. Yep.
Was that the case, or
No, it was a different
okay?
one because
Okay.
that's not even actually Gilbert PD, because that occurred in a different jurisdiction. But
Well, they travel,
Gilbert,
I guess.
they do, right? All of those little suburbs there in that area, they get out. I think that may have been
They,
Chandler.
yeah, I did notice that too. You know, where our hotel was, and like going to see you, and then just whatever. We didn't go very many places there, but it was like, boom, you're in Chandler. Boom, you're in Santan. Boom, you know. I was like,
Boom,
wow,
you're
all
in
in the middle of
Gilbert.
the
Boom, you're
desert.
in Mesa. Boom, you're in
Yeah,
Apache Junction. Yeah.
yeah, it
Yep.
was interesting.
So actually, Gilbert PD, let's talk. I'm going to take her off the screen just for a second because we can. Bye-bye. And come back in a second. So the very first day of opening statements of her very first trial in April, I was standing in line with a guy from Gilbert, and I was like, "Do you know about the Gilbert Goons?" And he held up his bracelet that is just like this one that I have that says "Justice for JJ, Tylee, and Charles," and his
Yeah.
said "Justice for Preston Lord." And he's like, "I know all about the Gilbert Goons," and
Wow.
that was a really cool discussion that he and I had. And I don't typically like to be too. Okay, that's a lie. I'm going to hell for that lie. I like to be critical of police departments that don't do their job. And according to this resident, who I'm not going to name, Gilbert PD did not do a good job of reining in the Gilbert Goons and responding to complaints about them. Like they treated them like they're just, some unruly teenagers,
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's an insult. That is an insult to injury.
And it's an
Especially when
injustice
they
to
minimize it like that.
Yeah.
It kind of gives me, look, I have the same feelings about Delphi. Because it's so dehumanized. It's so distant. Like I remember the prosecutor would say the girls. He never would say their names really. And that kind of bothered me. You bring them to life. That's my thing. And I mean, again, they're not there to comfort me and, put a warm blanket on me and make sure I'm snug as a bug in a rug. But I would, if I were a prosecutor or if I were an attorney, I think that would be the human element of it, like to bring that person to life, especially if loss of life is why you're there in the first place,
Yeah.
Like,
I know you liked my episode with Jack Fox of Never a Truer Word about Lori and her interview with Nate. He and I did one about Indiana Superintendent Doug Carter also, about an interview that he did back in the day about Abby and Libby. And somewhere in that interview, he said, "Those girls are the girls." And Jack Fox went out of his way to point out that verbalizing is dehumanizing, just like you were saying.
Yeah. Wow. That's interesting because, I mean, so it's not just, I've noticed it too with Tylee and JJ and Tammy, and, nobody really said Charles. I mean, they did in the trials, but in the hearings going up to, the pre-trial and all the damn hearings before you go to trial in Idaho, they wouldn't always say things, and I'm just like, I don't know, but that's just me and my feelings, and that's my family. So of course, and it was so fresh there too. Everything happened and it was a blur. And then it's like this brand new world, where it's made up of courtrooms and then it was even exacerbated from that because it became high profile, so I mean, I don't know it any other way, but I always felt really weird and uncomfortable about it being so big.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that, because one of my criticisms of the Chandler PD is they said this on the stand during the first trial. We didn't go to full investigative measures because we didn't feel like it was that big of a case. One of the detectives literally said it on the stand. I can't remember if that was Nate Duncan or if that was one of the other investigative officers. They didn't take any DNA from the scene. None. Not the bat, not the gun, not his hat. Nothing.
Wait, I remember they did take DNA. I remember seeing the report.
They sent the bat to a DNA agent, and she checked for DNA after the fact. But they didn't go at the.
They checked for fingerprints. Yeah.
Yes.
And they didn't find Charles's. They did for Lori, Alex, and Charles.
Right. But they didn't go around like you usually do at a homicide crime scene and take DNA swabs of every blood spatter. Like there was blood on the kitchen. Every case matters. Yes. Yes.
Yes. It does. I totally agree with that. Like I told Jason, so many times, like how they treat death penalty cases compared, if they're going and the death penalty is on the table. And then they make it sound like it's so much extra. And I mean, it is. Yes, it is extra because, yes, you live or die. It decides whether you live or die. And I get that. But treat me, if I am on trial and I'm accused of, let's say, what Lori did, which, oh my God, treat that case or treat any case as if it carries the same weight, because no matter what, you're losing life. Like it's life loss. It's like a loss of life. Anyways, it bothers me because it just doesn't feel just. It doesn't feel just.
No, and the way that they treated your uncle's crime scene, I don't feel like was given due diligence the way it should have been.
It was nonchalant, huh? As soon as they removed his body, they should have seen and they did. They did see the strike on the floor of the bullet strike. And no, his bamboo shirt did not stop the damn bullet, Lori. You idiot. I swear she's a fucking idiot. Anyways, but I mean, that right there, that tells you. And then interviewing, I don't know. It just seems like it's like everything that could go wrong did go wrong. Every crack that they could fall through, they did. And I'm just like, wow.
There were serious consequences of that, because
especially when the cop from Gilbert PD was in the same room with Lori, Melanie, and Tylee, and he said, "Well, you look okay. You're taking care of your kids, bringing them to school." And I'm like, "Only one goes to school, but you wouldn't know that, And he is not certified or what do you call that? He's not educated qualified in that. You don't, qualified. You don't, he has no qualifications to call shots whenever Charles literally, like, before he even came home. So there's a phone call that Charles made to Gilbert PD asking them before he even flew, before he found out that Lori, well, I don't remember that exactly, but if it was before or after, so don't come at me, but it was around that time. So before we even saw him on that body cam footage on January 31st, 2019.
With Officer Rob?
No, it was the nighttime one.
Oh,
the nighttime
okay.
one was the first one.
The
next morning was Officer Rob. Yeah. So before that even happened, in those two body cams we have, there's also a phone call. And so it is a phone report that I read, and, I have it on my channel too. And where he contacts Gilbert, he asks them, "What do I do?" He tells them what's going on, and they tell him to get an order of protection. They advise him on things he can do, policy, procedure, follow it. Right? He did. He went and got the 72-hour whatever hold or whatever it was in the beginning. I don't know. I don't remember all those things right this second, but he went and did all the things that they told him to do. One of them involving the community bridges, the other one involving the order of protection. He went and filed for divorce after that. But, he did the things that they told him to do before he even flew back into town, into Arizona, whatever. And Gabe had to go pick him up. His Bishop Gabe, went and picked him up. Now, this is the same bishop. I'm changing lanes here for a second, but this is the same bishop that is in business with Jason Mao. He's Jason Mao's illustrator. Okay. So he's the bishop and he's his illustrator. And I have the paper. They signed the name together on the paper. They are like business partners. Okay. So there's that part. Then you have where they're trying to get, and I even think they did take Lori's temple recommend away, but because Charles blamed her in a text or something along the lines of, you lied to get your temple recommend back. And so it makes me wonder if Gabe's damn signatures on, was he behind that? Or was it Adam's friend who his name was Shane? Oh my gosh. I usually have it. Shane. Okay. Anyways, but that's because Brandon, Charles, and Adam were supposed to go talk to Shane Holmes is his name, stake president.
Right.
And then Gabe was the bishop. So that's under the stake president. He's the layman, he don't get paid, but he's friends with Jason. He's friends. Right. And like Melanie even says it in her interview, Melanie Gibb. She's like, oh, hey, there's Jason. Or was it the cop interview? Anyways, it's
funny you mentioned that. It's funny you mentioned that he texted her accusing her of lying in her temple recommend interview to get it back.
Yeah.
Because I was on with Megan.
Mm-hmm.
With her two ex-Mormon
friends. I love LDS, Latter Daily Saints.
Yes, whatever it is.
Today's not my good name day.
they had to call in, and I called in just at the end of the show, just made a brief appearance. But we all agreed, pretty much unanimously, that we all lied in our temple recommend interviews to get our temple recommends.
It's super uber. Like, do you sustain the profit of the church? Yeah, it's the same thing she did with CBI.
Do you obey the word of wisdom? That's the one that I lied about because I like to drink Mountain Dew, and supposedly drinking Mountain Dew was against the word of wisdom. So I lied about that.
Yeah, I thought that was the craziest thing because whenever this case broke wide open, and I'm like, okay, I learned that Mormons usually they obey the word of wisdom, right? And so I thought that meant, if you're not going to be drinking coffee and caffeine and all that kind of stuff, cold drinks and stuff, then why are all the detectives drinking freaking Red Bull? Why the first time when I met Brandon Boudreaux at my mom and dad's house, why was he drinking Red Bull or Monster or whatever? And I'm just like, what? I'm so confused, because so yeah.
The actual word of wisdom itself, the original one that Joseph Smith claims he got divine inspiration for, after his wife was tired of them having meetings and having to clean up the tobacco spit and other things,
alcohol.
The letter of the law was no alcohol and no hot drinks, such as coffee and tea. And eventually more modern prophets came to have their own divine inspiration that said hot drinks, like coffee and tea, means caffeinated beverages, hot or cold, including Coke, Pepsi, Mountain Dew, and technically probably Monster and Red Bull too. They have caffeine in them. So,
and one of in the lawsuit against Tim Ballard, it was said that one of the allegations from the women said that Tim said that he didn't believe in the word of wisdom, and and that came from M. Russell Ballard. Okay, so I was like, what? I wish I could quote things. I swear, I suck at that. But it's because I don't have enough memory.
That's going to screw up my testimony. Like if that's true, I may have just lost my testimony over that.
No, oh wow, that was easy. Join the rest of us, okay? Oh, come as you are. So, okay, yeah. I forget what I was going to tell you earlier.
All right, let me finish this video. Let me finish us watching her take her nearly last breath of fresh air, and then I'm gonna like remove her from the screen.
Her milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. Okay, I'll try and be serious. It's hard today.
See, bloop, bloop, bloop. There she goes.
Na, 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 na. Okay, I've just got songs going through my head today. I'm trying to find the one that, I mean, I only have like almost 900 videos on my channel, so it's not an easy task, Joe. But I have one of her. While you look somewhere. So I'm sorry.
I just the eye contact that she tries to engage like every single person that she interacts with is just insane to me. Like she's not right in the head.
She's not. Definitely not. Let's see. There's okay.
Star has a good question that I don't actually know the factual answer to.
Okay.
I don't know if Idaho women's prison. I'm going to like speculate with a high degree of certainty that it's better than Estrella unit in Maricopa County.
She seemed to like it there. Nate Eaton did a report there whenever she first went there. So in 2023, yeah. But I'm looking for this other video, so I'm not even on that.
Okay.
On that.
I've heard that a lot too, that it's a lot more laid back with a lot more activities.
I mean, you got to think it's in Mormon country and they're nice.
Right. And they probably have like family home evenings on Monday or Tuesday nights.
Maybe she can watch conference there and not have to divert back to her 2023 conference, which she quoted to Nate Eaton. This is ridiculous, Kresha K.
No. Hey. Goodbye.
It's a good one. I'm scrolling. I'm looking.
Yeah. I mean, she still does have dealings in Arizona. Like with her her financial obligations. I forget what.
Yeah, the Zoom hearing. Yeah.
Yeah.
When he was like, when Pam Hicks she actually spoke up at the sentencing and started to, I guess, defend her client. I don't know. And he was like, I'm not going to extradite her here just for that, because she wouldn't waive her right. Like she wouldn't let them step in.
Right.
Control.
He said, he literally asked her that question. Would you be willing to have your co-counsel or advisory counsel step in and represent you in that hearing? And she's like, well, I can do it remotely.
Yeah. Well, just because you can doesn't mean you should. We've had this conversation. Just because I can wear spandex doesn't mean I should. Just saying. Just because I can drive a car. I mean, you can
that
go
reminds
on.
me, I need to go change. You'll hold on. I got to go change out of it.
Wearing your spandex. Melanie Gibb calls it spandeck. Okay. Straight up.
Oh, for real? Oh my gosh.
She's like spandeck. And we're like, wow.
Well, if it's got two legs, it's spandex.
Well, I mean,
He
yeah, I
likes
guess we can
dorms.
make an argument for that. It's so silly. Okay. I'm looking through my shorts now. Not my spandex shorts, but my YouTube shorts.
Are you sure? Are you looking in the right folder? Are you looking in the right drawer?
I really don't know.
Are you checking your drawers?
I'm always checking my drawers. Okay, finally found it in my drawers, my shorts. Oh my gosh, I have 15 tabs open. Okay, let me open this one so I can actually give you something to look at. Okay. Now, it's a lot of work back here, mental.
It is.
Okay, this was whenever you'll have to pull it up on the stage, but this is whenever she was sentenced after, at her sentencing, where she said no one was murdered in this case. That was July 30th, I want to say, of 2023. And this was from JLRs who caught this. And anyway, so just like to hear it. Here it goes. I don't know how these work. I like that they made her step on all that uneven footing. Look, 3 people. I love it. And she laughs.
I missed that.
I did too. She's
so somebody knew she was going to be taken out of.
They always do. Idaho just knows. It's interesting. They know all the things. I mean, I'm just saying, they work well with their media.
I thought about doing that in Phoenix, because I know where they brought the van in and where they took the van out, and so obviously they have to load her and unload her.
Not always, because whenever they extradited, well, wait, never mind. I'm thinking of Idaho, because they flew her in just like Koberger on the governor's plane. That was a peeve, okay?
Wow.
And I wonder if she flew back on the governor's plane.
Wow, interesting.
Mm-hmm. It is. I think I'm not fascinated by like what that video yesterday released. Like, I could give 2 shits about her, but I was fascinated with the entourage, the team, the people that, and the fact that they like brought receipts for it. They were like, oh, here you go. Bye-bye. Here you go. And it's like the way they filmed it, even with the outlook from the prison, or a drone or something, where they even showed the caravan driving out. It's just interesting. That's what I was in all by.
I was in the Delphi hearings too. Not so much in the trial itself, because for the trial, he was allowed to come in street clothes and not with this huge entourage. He was allowed to come in the front door. But when
he did have an entourage at one time, I saw him.
No, on August 1st, when it was the Odinism third party hearings, that's the one that I went to. I sat in the back right behind Bob Mata. And I did not expect Richard Allen to be brought in from the back, but he was. And he had like 8 deputies with him. There were like 3 in front, 3 in the back, and 1 on each side. And he was in shackles and he was in his jail garb. And they all walked right past me. And then before we could leave our seats, when we had breaks and recesses, we all had to stand. Obviously, all rise. We all rise, and they escorted him out, all 8 of them shackled and bound. And it is all inspiring to just like be there in the presence. Like, he walked within like probably 4 or 5 feet of me, but so did 8 deputies fully armed and with flash jackets on. Yes.
I mean, I've seen that kind of presence, at a bar fight. I'm just saying, at the club I used to go to, when they're like, oh, anyways, but I'm just like with Lori, and so I'm saying all this stuff out loud as it's happening, and Jason's like, "Well, they didn't want her ass to break out." I was like, "Well, okay, I can." You know what bird don't fly? A jailbird.
Right. And Rick Allen's like 5'5", and he was maybe 150 pounds at the time. I'm like, he's not going
Wow.
anywhere. And we're on the third floor of a courthouse with no windows that open to the outside and marble staircases all around. He's not going anywhere. Like just the 8 seemed excessive, but I don't know.
Same for Lori. You know,
Yeah, she's
there
not going
were a
anywhere.
lot.
Yeah.
She always had that one woman with her in Idaho. The police lady, I don't know, is what I call her. But she was always, you know, she would bring her to her hearings and take her out. And just now you saw her put her in the car. And many other times like that. You know, we have a lot of these kind of videos. Let me find the one of, it's going to take me a minute, of course, of when, I don't want to say it because then it'll give it away. So give me a moment.
No spoilers. No spoilers. We don't want spoilers. No.
Here, I'll give you this one to watch. I mean, it's just her walking, and this is actually her being extradited. Let me share this tab instead. And I mean, so I have it playing the music, but I'm not going to play the music because
we'll get struck. Don't strike us.
It's not. It's off, but I know it's slow motion. So let me speed it up a little bit. But that's her getting off the governor's plane. Her friend April told me, like, this guy is FBI, but anyways, I don't know. I need to verse myself on this.
The MCSO always had the same deputy with her in the courtroom. Like, he's the one that brought her in from the side room and took her back out of the side room. He's the one that when Judge Boreski said, get her out, get her out.
Yeah.
He came over and took her out, touched her arm and said, come on, let's go. Don't make me make a scene here.
And I was like, open the door. Not that door, just open the door to it, Lori. Like, can they please zap you? Because it reminds me of when Chad texted Lori and said about Melanie's kids, do you want me to zap them? Turn up the pain? I mean, that's where I go. So yeah, zap her ass. Can we just do it just to make sure it works? You know, I mean,
there were people willing to put up bond money for me to jump over the railing and tackle her and see if we could both get zapped.
I always picture, look, I pictured like Medea jumping over into the, you know, out of the gallery or whatever. Yeah, that's what I pictured through my mind. So I was like, I don't need to go because I didn't picture that the first in Idaho, you know. I went to hers, but I didn't even go to Chad's, and I was there for a day.
Right.
Because we did the memorials for the kids in Rexburg, and I'm trying to remember. So I flew into Rexburg. Mom and Larry and Joy got me, and then the next day we went to the memorial service, and I cried. I couldn't even get out of the vehicle. Like, I was crying, didn't know where it came from. Okay, this is me as an emotional being. Like, I suppress it so much, I guess, and it just hit me. It hit me so bad. And like, so we're sitting in like this theater, which is where it was, and there's a stage, and like a lot of the reporters from the different media outlets played on a projector screen, and I didn't know about that. I don't think any of us did, but you know, they said very nice, beautiful words, and just about the case, about the kids, about Tammy, about, you know what I mean? Like, it was so, anyways, that was finally whenever I got in there. But so I was sitting there, and then Tom and Susan were a little ways from me, but I did not know them really. I don't remember meeting them really. But
speaking of prayers for the grandson Miles.
Definitely.
He has a TBI, a traumatic brain injury, and he's recovering from, and he's had some signs of progress, but he's still fighting the good fight. So
Yeah.
as far as I know, the last update I had, he's still fighting a good fight. But
wow.
Yeah.
My what am I supposed to be looking for? Okay. Hold on. Go ahead. I mean, like, I just can't keep the conversation going and talking and looking. Sorry.
What?
I'm spaced out today.
Right.
Obviously.
Is it pat your head and rub your tummy, or rub your head and pat your tummy?
I can do that. I just can't do that and talk. Or I can. It just will be babble, you know? So.
We won't know the difference. Oh, did I say that out loud? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you did.
I got to give you a hard time. You know
Sure
it.
Did. Oh, yeah. Oh, here's this one. This is Chad. Oh, this was crazy. So I'm not going to play the music on this one either, but.
Hold on just 1 second. Hold on just 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Serious break. Can you please repeat what you just said? So Tom and Susan's grandson, Miles, had an injury, traumatic brain injury. I'm not going to say anything more than that because I don't know what I should and shouldn't say, except that he was in an induced coma for a while, and he may still be. I don't know what the latest update is. I haven't heard from Tom in a couple of days.
I have it on my community post, but again, I got to look for it. It's the last one I did. I did it like the night before last, and I shared the go. I don't know how you say that. Go, spin go. I don't know. It's like a raising money page. I don't know what to call it. Give, send, go. I think. Anyways.
So is that what your understanding is? Is he still in an induced coma, still fighting the
pull
swelling in his brain?
Did it share? It better have shared.
I don't see it.
I don't either. Well, damn. Is that where they go?
Do I need to take Chud off the screen?
I'm just looking on my channel content,
on your channel
community tab page or whatever it's called, post, and I don't see the post. So I'm like, where the hell did it go? That's weird. Anyways, I don't fudge with all this stuff too much, especially on my computer. Now my phone I can get around, but my computer, no.
Right.
It's weird. Anyways, all right. I'm just gonna can all this stuff because I'm too spacey today. Except you do have to see this Chad one, okay? Because Chad is rating that ass, okay? Now watch this. Did you see that?
I saw that. It's as brief as him putting his hand on her ass in the storage unit video.
Mm-hmm.
Like I saw that myself without anybody pointing it out, and then I pointed it out, and I couldn't unsee it after that. Like after they get the back seat in there, I think, or the tire, maybe it's the tire, whatever it is, and they leave, he reaches down, puts his left hand on her right butt cheek, and I'm like,
yeah. And Tammy's still alive, and we at that point we thought, I'm serious, dead serious. We thought that because it wasn't good camera footage at that time, and we thought it was like a dead body. I'm not playing, like in a tote.
It did look like it. Yes, it did look like it.
And it was so freaky. And again, it was like one of those Dateline breaking stories. It was just like, I don't want to hear it from Dateline. You know what I'm saying? Like, it freaked us out. It freaked me out. I'll just speak for myself. It freaked me the hell out.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, I told Nate in the latter days of the second latter days. Did I just say latter days? In the last few days of the trial, that video footage enhancement was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I were a defense attorney, I would have had them play that video, and I would have asked the detective, and I think that was Ray Hermosillo, how can you tell for sure and identify with beyond a reasonable doubt that is Lori Daybell in that video in its original state? There's no way. There is no way you can tell that's Lori.
You can when she pulls up in her blue freaking car in the front and goes in and pays. I'm like, whoa, that's very, very
okay. That part. Yes, I'm just talking about the long hallway video. like the
Yeah.
long video, hallway
I
video,
get
and
it.
like
Mhm.
that's you can't identify a single person from that. But she didn't challenge it because she's not a real bright attorney. In fact, she didn't cross him at all. She did not ask him one single question on cross-examination, not one.
Right.
I was waiting for that. I was waiting for her. I think she's intimidated by him. I think she's scared of him, which is why she wouldn't cross-examine him at all.
That's the good point, you know? How many of y'all think that too? It's like she was so annoyed with him during the sentencing whenever she was talking, and he corrected her and said that's not correct, you know, and she just continued to talk. If not, she jumped at talking, like to cut him off, you know. I don't know. It just was very snappy. And you know, and this also goes into the LDS thing where women are to keep sweet, pray, and obey, you know, and the men get up at the pulpit and they pontificate, you know, and how these women talk with their baby voices, you know. I'm just saying, I know I'm saying you know a lot, but damn, don't you know? And it's like, let the damn ladies talk, y'all.
Well, they get one chance a month, and I was witness to it in Kerrville, Texas, because I attended fast and testimony meeting, and every one of the women, or every one of the people in the congregation that got up to give their testimony was a woman, except for one. Well, besides one of the members of the bishopric, he did too, and he's like, I would be remiss if I didn't, type of thing. And then there were a bunch of women, and then there was a guy that was affected by the floods that was just like very, anyway, it was mostly women that got up and bore their testimony, because they usually don't get asked to give talks in regular sacrament meetings. Like they can go to their Relief Society meetings, they can go to their Sunday school classes, and they can, you know, they can say a bunch there, but in the actual like ward sacrament meetings, you don't see women giving talks very often. It's not unheard of, but it's not, at least in my experience, it's not often. So that's why they do on Fast and Testimony meeting day.
I can see it.
And there's no time limit on your Fast and Testimony meeting. When you get up to bear your testimony, you can literally take 45 minutes to an hour if you want.
I bury my testimony. Yeah. The church is true. Yeah. I pulled up
Joseph Smith was prophet of God, and this bishopric was divinely appointed. That was
wow, ingrained, huh?
Yes.
I did find this article, and I do have that pulled up, and so I don't know if you want to share it or not. This is, I mean, it's jumping ahead, but I found it right before it came on, and I was like, holy crap. I'm glad I found it, because the guy that I get this from, or had learned all this stuff from, his research, right, was a non-famous right here, and he has a Substack, but the stuff is not there anymore. And I'm like, oh no. And so I did manage, like, I remember going over part 1, and then I captured part 2, but haven't gone over it yet. Like, I won't even look at it, you know, until I'm ready to dive in, because when I dive in, I go whole ass. And so I didn't even get to see part 3, and that's where Pamela Anderson comes in. And she's like this pivotal character in all the things with all these people, the elite people. Tim Ballard is what I'm talking about, really. But and see the subtitle there, I'm just like, oh God, no. I mean, I don't know these things. I mean, I've had to learn about them through my research, but I don't know. It's just so crazy.
I didn't have Pamela Anderson and Tim Ballard on my bingo card for Tuesday.
Did you have Paul Mitchell? Because I mean, that's basically, he's the face of Paul Mitchell.
Did not.
His name is Paul DeJoria. But anyways, and that's Carlos Slim. And so, you know, cartels. That's right there, the cartel. CIA. Okay, so
a non-famous, like anonymous with an F in the middle of it,
right? And so I just appreciate him for his work.
Author is? Do you know who the author is?
This a non-famous.
Yes. No, I mean,
I was a paid subscriber and everything, and I'd credited. So I don't think it was me, I'm not blocked or anything, but it's like, I don't know if he took it down because the powers that be, I have no idea.
You were able to find it after they took it down?
No, I had captured, like, this is really this big. Watch. Okay. It's just you can take
printed out the web pages. Gotcha.
Yeah, you can do that with your iPhone. And so I'm like, oh, okay. That's how that works.
Now it's gone. Now it's gone.
Well, I have the article. Okay. At least for part 2. And I have part 1 captured too. But not on this. I have it captured on a video that I did that people can go look at. That's where they were talking. Yeah, it was crazy. I don't even know how to talk about it because I don't know all these things. And so I'm just stepping into a world where I'm like, okay, I don't know about, at least then for sure. I've learned more and more about Freemasons, about the Order of the Jesters, and how that, I remember seeing that the Order of the Jesters take shape in the Hamblin case through following Goel's Substack. I'm just like, oh my God, I don't know all these things. And so I'm learning as I go too,
There's the update.
I've got to stop saying,
There's the update on Miles, I think.
Okay.
That's tough. That's so tough because you gotta,
I'm sorry, I was reading it. What's an IC?
Internal something pressure, maybe like internal compression pressure. It's cranial pressure, internal cranial pressure.
Okay. Probably. My cousin Jonathan, when he was a young kid, he fell out of a second story window. And this kind of reminded me of it because I was little too. I'm younger than my cousin Jonathan. And so now I need to ask about, how that happened, or at least ask him. He's my big cousin. I always looked at him like a brother because I didn't have a brother. I didn't have any siblings. He didn't either. So we used to scrap. Yeah. Anyways. So yeah, our prayers are definitely with the with Tom and Susan Evans, their family, their grandson, for sure. Yeah. They've, Tom and Susan have gone over and beyond for my family. Look, oh my God, hold on. And I only got to meet them just that little brief moment in the line outside of the courtroom in Arizona on the 25th of July. And I was like, I want to talk to him so bad. There's so many things that I've watched his interviews and the books he has written, and then how he continued on with that. It really did impact his life. And I don't know. I just really
it impacted his life enough that he changed his life.
Yes.
To report about it, to write books about it, to research, to study. He started research, or he started writing his chapter on the FLDS right when those 2 kids went missing. But I met him at jury selection for the first trial in April. And I didn't get to meet his wife that day. I met her later, but I had no idea who he was. He and I just happened to end up sitting pretty much next to each other for jury selection because there's nobody there, so we could spread out a little bit. So we were a couple seats apart, but we were close enough that we joked back and forth a little bit, and we instantly had a connection. At least I felt like we instantly had a connection and made friends almost instantly. And then I later found out who he was, and he granted me the honor of coming on my channel a couple of times to be interviewed and talk about Lori's trials. But he's just a really good, amazing guy. He's like Tosh. I met Tosh.
Yeah.
And she's just a genuinely, amazingly good person. like it gives me faith that our jury system works most of the time. You know, we have exceptions like Richard Allen's trial that I don't feel like they did, but I will respect their decision. But then I meet people like Tom and Tosh, and I'm like, my faith is restored in our legal system.
You know, that is the beautiful thing in this. There's so much torture, so much pain, so much hell, so much grief, so much confusion. Everything's just crazy. And so you're looking into the pits of hell. But on the other hand, I did have this dream one time, and it was actually not a dream, but anyways, I don't know. I'm trying to sound kooky. I don't know how to explain it. My stepdad died, Dennis, which is Todd's dad, but Dennis raised me from the time I was 18 months old, until, and he died in 2021 or 22. I don't know. It's a blur. And so Mom, she decided to get a room there's a casino here. It's called L'Auberge Casino, L'Auberge de Lac. And she just got a room, and she was like, okay, you and Todd come. And she just was going to spend the night with her kids, you know, and us have our mom. And so I met her up there, and then we never could get Todd to come, you know, because he was todding. I don't know. He was going through his grief, you know, and I remember she had just got off the phone with him. And so we have double beds, you know, like the separate beds. And I'm sitting on mine looking at her, and she's sitting on hers looking at me. And she just got off the phone with the speakerphone with Todd. And she was really disappointed, you know, like she really wanted him to come. And I'm just like, Todd, do what you got to do, boo. You know, like if you don't, because we were talking about whether or not we were going to go to the service or not, because we have an evil effing stepmom. Okay. She's still alive. And she made our lives hell. She made our lives living hell. She pushed me out. I mean, as fast as she could, you know. Anyway, that kind of person. It's like, where's the body? She's like a Lori, but where is the bodies? I don't know where the bodies are yet. She's a bitch.
Yeah.
Anyway, so like that.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you never know. She just is so vindictive, you know, and it just smile in front of my dad. But then as soon as he turns his back, you know, she was like, yeah, I don't know. She was something else, but I didn't know any. I mean, I was only like 14, 15 whenever they met, and you know, her and her kids move in, and then our pictures disappear, our space disappears. Money disappears. I even like lived with my dad for a time. And so me and my stepsister, we stayed in the same room, same age. And we were just, you know, those snarky ass teenagers, the zombie ones. Okay. The ones where we're doing dishes and we're like, duh. And he's like, if you say duh one more time, y'all are grounded. And we're like, duh. And he's like, go, you know, but we'd be punished together. So it was cool. But anyways, I didn't display my mom and dad's pictures. I didn't, not with her, not with my stepmom in the house. And anyways, but I did find where she did go into my closet where my pictures were in a box, and she scratched my mom out of the pictures and stuff like that. This is what I'm talking about. This kind of
what? That is insane behavior.
Yeah.
Wow.
One morning I was getting ready for school, me and my stepsister, and I had a curling iron on, and it was, anyways, I stepped on it. I stepped on the damn curling iron, and I screamed, right? Because I stepped on a fucking curling iron, and nothing happened. But when I got home from school, I was punished because I woke her up. And I mean, I'm just saying, it was just very volatile. But so there was a decision.
Sound a little bit, yeah, it does sound a little bit like Lori without the found bodies yet.
Mm-hmm.
It does. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh.
Yep. And so we debated. Like Todd was like, I don't know if I want to go to the service, and I was like, hey, dude, I don't want to go either. You know, like I'm here. I'm with you. Like, I'm okay with, I do not want Martha to, oh, I'm sorry. Oop. I do not want her to control this too, because that's exactly what would happen if we were to go. It's not about our dad. He's not there. His body's there. But I mean, what do you do? So we decided not to give her that power, and we did not go. And I mean, it was a lot for mom to take in. You know, she was like, "Oh my God, you got to go." And we're like, "We really don't want to go." And then, but she understood who we were dealing with as well. And in fact, it got so bad when we were growing up. And again, me and my brother are 8 years apart. It got so bad when we were growing up that I think it was just Todd there at that point in time, you know, going back and forth between our parents' house. But so he was there a time with our dad and stepmom. And mom had sent something, or I don't know when it was. Anyways, but mom sent a card to Todd with money in it for his birthday or something. He was a kid, like he was a little kid. And it was not there. She took it. She stole it.
She took money from a
Yeah, from a child. So that, I mean, that happened more than one time. So then my mom got smart, and she would send birthday cards or whatever the occasion, and she started putting glitter in it. Bitch. I mean, you know, you can't get rid of glitter. You just can't.
No,
It just keeps on giving. So
Oh
sometimes you
my
just
gosh.
have to be smarter than the tools you're working with, because she's a
Your
miserable
mother Kay did that. She put
Yeah.
glitter in the cards. Oh my
glitter, confetti. I mean, just yeah, whatever the occasion. Yep. I mean, again,
YouTube Bad
you have
Actors
to be
has a
smarter.
question. You already answered it, but I'll put it up there again for latecomers.
Me and Todd share the same mom. Kay is our mom. My dad is a cool cat. He's a cool cat. My dad is cool like the other side of the pillow. No. I mean, my mom was 17 when she had me, and my dad was 19. And get this. I don't know, this is super personal, but I mean, I don't have anything to hide. I'm just, you know, I'm an open book. But so my mom and my dad were dating, or whatever, whatever that was, before I was born. And my mom came from a conservative Catholic family, but that doesn't mean it wasn't dysfunctional. Alrighty. I don't know. I wasn't there, but I mean, that's what it looks like from hindsight. Here, my hindsight mirror. And so basically, my mom was forbidden by my grandfather, my Papa Vallow. He was like, you know, my Papa approached my real dad, and he was like, Gerald, he was like, you know, I just don't want y'all to see each other anymore. My dad was like, okay. And he really respected my grandfather, because my grandfather treated him with respect, you know. So it was, my dad came from very humble, what do you call that? Anyways, he just, I don't know how to talk about that. I don't want to offend anybody.
Humble origins.
Yeah. I mean, my grandmother on my dad's side, my paternal grandmother, I mean, she was a bartender for a long time, and she's actually cousins with Mickey Gilly, is what I'm trying to say, and Jerry Lee Lewis. Okay, but anyway, so.
Oh no, I don't want to be Jerry Lee Lewis's cousin.
No, well, hello. No, Mickey Gilly. Like, you can tell if this is how a lot of my aunts and uncles were on that side of the family, on the Easton side. They would say, "Oh, we know, like, you're Gerald's, because you have no top of her lip, you know, like there's no, it's very thin, and that's the Gilly lip, like it's the Gilly, I don't know, mouth, I guess." And I'm like, oh my God, you know, but
yeah, that's anyway. In Indiana, that's how we talk about people that live in Kentucky, because we say if the toothbrush was invented anywhere else besides Kentucky would be called the teeth brush.
Stop it. I just say the tree doesn't branch out a lot, like not Kentucky. I'm just saying this happens.
Yeah.
I mean, it turns out these bloodliners, these elites, this is what they do.
So,
The royals,
right.
this is what they do. The closer the kin.
We say it jokingly, but they like apply it to like their real life, like their finances, like who they accept into their society, who they don't accept into their society. Like I love my former in-laws. I'm divorced now, but I love them. Well, we can put my ex-mother-in-law in a different category later, but I'll jokingly talk about them and talk about people in Kentucky like that, but I don't like take it seriously. Like I don't drive down to Kentucky and just like automatically make fun of people.
Yeah. Look here, this is my dad. I don't know if you can really tell, but am I on screen? Because I can't see. Like I don't want to have to go back there.
We got it.
You do? So you can see?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I thought I could zoom in, but I can't. That's my dad. And that is me. And that's his Mustang. One of them. But my dad, he just kind of grew up without his father being there. And there were seven kids. And there were six. Wait, hold on. I gotta do the thing. There's 6 kids. And then one aunt. And she's the baby. And then so 5 boys and 1 girl. Okay. And my grandma, again, she was a bartender. She did the best she could with what she had. Well, my dad, this is stories from my dad. Okay. Because I wasn't raised around him. I found out, we got to know each other and in each other's lives later. Unfortunately, fortunately and unfortunately, I wish I could have had him, we could have been in each other's life. We were estranged. Okay. That's just how to put it. Okay. It's hard to talk about these things because I don't want to paint like my mom in a bad light or, I want that, but this is my story too. So it's like, I do want to share it. I just don't know how. I haven't had to like tiptoe around that. No, I don't want to have to tiptoe.
So did your papa tell your daddy, your real dad?
Yeah. He was just like, hey, I don't want this anymore.
Right. Did he do that knowing that your mother was pregnant or not knowing?
No, my mom was not pregnant at that time.
So he told him that, and then she got pregnant later after he told her, or after he told him he didn't want them seeing each other.
Yeah. So he was like, hey,
was she sneaking out at night? I mean, what was that story like?
My mom's a go-getter. That's all I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? Like y'all saw it in action. Okay. So
that's a delicate way to put it.
Goes after whatever her mind and heart are set on. And so here I am because of that. So it is what it is. Here I am. They were never married. I want to say, I'm trying to remember back. I mean, I don't remember this. I was just remember what I was told for the most part, but we did move with my dad. My dad's a roofer, has been a roofer his entire life. He's never been a drinker or smoker. He's just really built, and his age is starting to catch up with him now. And it's hard to see, because he just kind of is like slow. My dad was always so strong and protective, and I don't know, he was just a goofball too, but he was also you could have very deep philosophical mysteries of the world conversations with him too. So I resonate with my dad on those things right there. Now my dad can name any band, any singer from all the rock hair bands, all Deep Purple. I'm trying to think of all the album. I used to see all his records and his album, all that when I'd go stay the summer or whatever at his house, wherever he was working, whether it be Dallas or anyways. But like, that's how I fell in love with Pink Floyd, listening to Learning to Fly was like one of my favorite Pink Floyd songs because I was at his apartment all damn day long, and all he didn't have TV. So all I had was the damn CDs at that point, and Into the Distance, Rhythm of, and so that's what I did. We didn't have cell phones, and I mean, I didn't go out with the strangers in the apartment complex. So, but anyway, so it's kind of like they were both good parents, just they didn't work out and whatever, but
Yeah,
whenever
and sis, you should have been a detective. Like I don't know if she was joking or not, said, "Stop asking questions. This is okay, we're talking about." And I'm like, I'm not doing it to be disrespectful,
no.
because we're human beings. And I snuck out when I was a teenager, and
Yeah.
the mother of my children got pregnant when she was 17. So
My
I'm
mom
not
was
asking
actually
to be
16
disrespectful.
when she got pregnant, 17 when she had me,
Yeah,
truth be told. But
that's
again,
that's the human condition. I mean,
it is what it is. And you have to think to like the generation of that time. And so not excusing, but I'm also trying to figure out my world too through this entire process of researching all the things around in and around Lori. Like, what is narcissism? What, oh my God, like what are these things? Generational things, trauma, all this is my family too. I'm telling you, none of us get out of this unharmed. It's real and it's deep, and just trying to understand my own dynamics because my mom has never been one to talk. And I actually confronted her about this when I saw her, right before we went to Arizona in July. And I was like, "Mom, you never talked about your childhood ever. Hardly. There's a few stories that I've heard, but none. I don't, and I mean, I can remember things. I can't quote people, but I can remember things like a crazy person. But
the generation before us, well, I'm kind of halfway in between you and your mom. Like, I'm 55, so I'm like halfway in between, right?
It's my dad's age, and I'm picking. It's not. My mom is like what? My mom was born in 61, so, and my dad was born in like 50s.
Yeah, so I'm 9 years I'm 9 years younger than your mom, and I'm about the same older than you. So I'm
And my
halfway in
dad was
between.
like what, 3 years older than her. So,
But I'm gonna say the generation before us didn't talk about stuff, doesn't talk about stuff. It's
right.
not discussable. Like, if you have generational curses that are run through your family, if you have alcoholism, if you have addiction problems,
Oh yeah.
if there's
It's
abuse, like if that runs through your family, you don't talk about it. If you were abused, you definitely don't talk about it. Like, you swallow it and you suck it up and you do the best you can. Like, that's how the generation before us handled it. That's how my
I
grandfather's
self-soothe.
generation handled it.
I wonder how many of us were like, I didn't realize this until, like I said, going through this process, learning all these things. And I'm like, oh my God. I remember I didn't have a sibling, and I just had my mom and I say my stepdad, but I grew up, I didn't even know that Gerald was not my dad. I mean, I'm sorry, I said that backwards. I didn't even know that Dennis was not my dad. Like 18 months old, right? They got married, mom and Dennis, so Todd's dad. He wasn't around yet though. They got married when I was 4 or 5. I was in the wedding or whatever. And then what happened was similar to what happened to Colby, it appears, that whenever my last name was changed to Trahan, it was changed by the notary public, like taking a pen and drawing one line through Easton and then writing in all caps above Easton. This is on my birth certificate. Trahan in all caps. Okay. And then they put a seal on it. And I was Trahan. I was Kresha Trahan. Okay. And so,
And that's how you introduced yourself in court too. Like, how many
because
years
that's
later?
what it is on my license. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and so I say Easton here because I feel robbed. I feel robbed. And I mean, that's, I think, legit. Because when parents, whether they know it or not, whether it was last generation or 50 generations ago or tomorrow, the things that our parents do and the things we do as parents affect our kids. And this is real. It's real. If your parents are fighting, oh my God, right? It's crazy. And the dynamics in my childhood were a lot like Colby's, where I'm not going to say I had to be a protector, but I always felt like I needed to protect my mom. I don't know what that, I haven't dealt with these, like I haven't gone and like revisited counseling since all this has come up. So it doesn't bother, like it, I just don't know how to make sense of them and talk sensical about them. So I'm kind of choosing my words here, but I was very lonely as a kid. I was so lonely and I had the biggest imagination. Like I could go outside and like I would go and pee behind a bush just to not have to go inside. So my mom would make me stay inside. Okay. I wanted to go play. And anyway, so I was a little tomboy. I loved being outside. I loved being outside and playing just whatever. Or it reminds me a lot of how JJ was with, he was kind of bossy. Like, this is my kitchen. You get out, or, hey, there's a video I have of him telling Silas, my little one, like, hey, kid, move. And I'm just like, oh my God, I know that, like, it's not bossy. It's just leadership skills, right, JJ? I mean, you can see him follow me when I'm going to yell for the kids to come sing happy birthday to my son. And he's like right behind me, like, I'm like, oh my God. I didn't notice these things at the time, but I did after they were dead.
Yeah.
And
it's a good example of how generational family traits get passed down for good or for bad.
Good and bad. Yes. Yep.
But
until you know different, until you learn different, until you go to your friends' parents, your friend's house and their parents are like, oh, wait, y'all sit at the table? Oh, my bad. So, I mean, and it's just like, I think how it is for people who end up in cults. Okay. Especially Mormonism, because it's very insular. It's like nobody from the outside, unless we invite you in. And even when we invite you in to the real true church, then you're still not equal to us 7 generations, 8 generations, however many, if
you're on the inside looking out, you don't know any better. Like
right.
You're taught to believe that way and think that way and exclude that way and include that
there's
way.
no diversity. That's huge. Like, I think I saw maybe 4 Black people while in Idaho and Utah for 6 weeks. Like, I was like, okay. Like, I remember in my graduating.
And you're like, hello.
Well,
did you see that? Did you see the homeless people in Phoenix? Like, side note, bunny trail, rabbit trail.
But I've followed this one guy. He has 2 different channels, the Conspiracy Files, and he also went to Lady Bird Lake. And he also has Paranormal Files. So he did this story on Midnight Productions, which is, I would say, a very ravenous cult that kills a lot of homeless people in Arizona, in Phoenix area. Yeah, y'all, I'm gonna go grab the link because y'all have got to go. It's compelling. And they even have, there's a Reddit thread. There's not much on it. So, I mean, maybe there is now, but this was maybe a year ago.
I got to check out his stuff on Lady Bird Lake because that is still a story that I haven't finished up yet, and I haven't gone back.
He also went to Delphi. I mean, but he does, like, he was doing, oh my gosh, ghost, ghost stories, I guess, or whatever. I can't think of the right word.
I feel like you're talking about a more interesting version of myself. Went to Delphi, went to Lady Bird Lake, went to Phoenix, delved into the
Yeah, that's true.
That's a more interesting version of myself.
Well, but then he became Christian too. So I'm just like, I don't know. It just sometimes I like to watch different things that I can't explain and that I don't know that aren't true crime and or but they kind of are, you know. Let's see. I found the YouTube. I mean, I'm sorry, I found the Reddit for it. And so the Reddit for it is it's called Phoenix Midnight Production and it's homeless. It involves the police taking homeless, making snuff films, and doing who knows what to the people. Have any of you heard of this or something similar?
No,
Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes.
that's
So I'm gonna
madness.
throw this link in the chat. So I'm throwing the Reddit link there. I haven't gone to look at it yet, so just know that.
Phoenix police taking out homeless to do snuff films is
Yeah, that's what's going on.
that's that hits my cognitive dissonance square in the Discord. I mean,
Yeah.
like I would look at that and be like, no, come on, I need receipts. But Jason Mao was a Phoenix police department
Amen.
officer.
Now I'm so glad you said it. I didn't have to.
That I've ever
Here.
come across, and I
Are
think
you
this is our most
even up there? I'm
I
sorry.
can hear it. Yeah, I can hear it. Yeah.
Can you? Okay. Can you see
Yes,
it? Okay.
I see it and I hear it.
most important video to
I don't
date.
know how to start it over.
In tonight's documentary, we explore Midnight Productions, the mythical almost group that supposedly has been preying on homeless individuals, men, women, and children in Arizona for decades now. And in this documentary, we talked to ex-law enforcement officials who claimed almost half of the Phoenix Police Department to this day believes in Midnight Productions. We talked to homeless individuals living on the streets in Phoenix who also claimed they had seen Midnight Productions. They knew them. They knew people who disappeared or were disappeared by them. And it gets into some really, really disturbing stuff. The paranormal activity and evidence that we captured in the video also led us to locations that you're going to see in the video. We found some incredibly disturbing, shocking stuff.
Okay.
We got some direct answers. And online, everywhere you look, when you bring up Midnight Productions, everyone.
So I don't know how Instagram works. I don't really come over here, but
Was
it's fascinating.
this guy is that guy the one that went to the Monon High Bridge with like some
Yes.
paranormal detection equipment?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they
saw
were
it
like,
years ago.
"Oh!" I was like, "Oh my god!" That's the first one I watched ever of his, and I was like, whether it's true or not, this is some really. But it sounds like it, you know, could happen on a parallel plane. I'm just
Right.
saying.
There's evidence. Like, do you evaluate the evidence to your level of credibility? But that's cognitive dissonance. Is sometimes you have to let the evidence outweigh your level of credibility, and
Then
sometimes it
and
doesn't.
this also ties into the two cases I was telling y'all about. KK's Corner here in Lake Charles. That's a triple homicide, and then there's one of the police officers transferred from Lake Charles, okay, where I live, and he went to Jennings, and that's where the Jennings 8 unsolved.
Whoa.
Okay, corruption, y'all, real.
Whoa.
And then there's also a double homicide that happened in Sulphur, Louisiana, which is like, well, 10 minutes from where I live, maybe now, but I mean, it's right here in Lake Charles. So in the Lake Charles area. And that's a husband and a wife, the Ellenders. They were murdered and they left their baby girl alive, 18-month-old. And it's interesting because I haven't got to dive into this part yet because I haven't had time, but it's a satanic group called the Skaters. And I'd have to look up the acronym to even tell you what it meant. But I was like, oh my God, I did not know. And so it spills from one cup into the other, into the other, into the other. And I just want y'all to know I'm learning firsthand my own cognitive dissonance. And but yeah, you can go watch Murder on the Bayou. Where's it on? Well, hold on, I'm trying to do two different things. Crap.
I can't imagine being homeless in Phoenix. Karen.
I would move.
So I went to every single day of Lori's trials, both trials, most of her pretrial conferences and jury selection and sentencing. And I saw a lot of homeless people, and a lot of them look like zombies, like they just shuffle through life, just trying to survive every day. Like they have no point to their lives except just bare survival. And it's really sad. And it is a huge problem in Phoenix. Like I said, when I arrived at my Airbnb, there were 2 homeless people right outside the door by where I had to get the key to my Airbnb, counting pieces of crack in their hand. Like, how many little pieces of
I heard you talking about that.
Yeah. Do we have enough to smoke? And I was going to take a picture because it was like documentary worthy, but I wasn't doing a documentary. So I didn't take a picture because that wouldn't have
Don't become that guy on YouTube or whatever he's called, the underbelly.
Yeah.
Under white belly. I don't know what it's called, but very, because it's exploitative, but he tries to help them too. But it's like, it's too cringe. I find it sad. Like I remember me and Jason used to go dumpster diving, y'all. I will not do it now. Okay. I've watched too many true crime shows where there's damned parts. Okay. And I'm not trying, except for that one time the baby was found alive in a bag, in New Mexico from that young mother. I forget her name, but I was like, oh my God.
Was it still alive? I remember when there was one that was found not alive.
Yes. So thank God for the dumpster divers that night. So when we would go, I'd always keep a little cash on me. That way, if I did run across somebody who's homeless, I would have something to offer. I mean, like one night, like I remember seeing this guy and, he was getting a meal. Okay. I'll just say that from where we were diving in the same back area. And so before we left, I was like, oh my God, let's just, and we do this all the time, every chance we get, like if we have it, we try to give something. And a lot of people get pissed off about that. I've learned. And I'm like, why? They're like, they're just going to go buy drugs. They're just going to go buy alcohol. And I'm like, that's on them, like that's for them to do. Like, I don't control them. Like I did it because it's the right thing to do. And so not because of what they're going to do with it, you know what I mean? So I don't know. That's just kind of how we look at it. And we wanted to teach our kids about that. How a lot of these people end up in these situations. I've been homeless for a little time. Okay. Called humble. It's called humble. It makes you humble real quick. And it's so sad to see how.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter.
It's just from trauma or something that was not dealt with. And so there was abuse or, I mean, a lot of it is the same things that you and I have gone through and everyone here, but just the circumstances, not everybody lives in Mormon USA. Not everybody lives in suburbia USA. Not everybody has that same opportunity. Like my dad's family come from poor, they're poor. They were raised poor, and that's just the way it was. My mom and them, they came more from a middle class, I guess. But all just as equally dysfunctional, except you see more camaraderie with my dad's family and him interacting with his siblings, whereas you don't see that as much in my mom's side. You know what I'm saying? Like it's undealt with trauma from childhood that has not been dealt with. Whether it's like, okay, it's how a parent can be there, but they're not present, because they're not emotionally available. That is also neglect.
Well, I like your reference to the family connections and who's close and who's not, because my side of the family is not close. I mean, we talk and text and email on a regular basis, but there are only a couple of them. Well, there's 3 that I would say, okay, if I was in a dire spot, I could text them and they'd be there like as soon as they could get there. Like that type of connection with the family.
That's how my dad's family was. Yeah.
But
like the brothers.
My ex-wife's family was like blood is thicker than anything else. Like if anybody needs anything ever, we will like take out your neighbor. we will
Yeah.
we will do anything for each other. And I'm not saying they did. I'm just saying that's the feeling. Like you have some families that are like super tight and super close. And then you have some that are just like intellectual partners. They're like, you know, we're in a group chat together and we're having a good conversation, but you know, I have stuff going on in my life and please don't ask me to interrupt it type of thing.
Right.
Not that
Well, I
they,
mean,
not
it's
that they
like,
wouldn't,
it's
but
like
it's just,
they love each other, but it's, I don't know, it's different. It's not like, oh, come on, sit down. And so in my dad, if I go to my dad's house and then all my uncles are there and they're just real down to earth, you know, like you can be yourself. You can kick back. You can, there's crawfish bowls. There's, you know, there was more family things like that, but yet they were the poor, the, you know what I'm saying? The not so class wise, as far as class goes.
I
I
think
mean,
that
to
may,
me, they're,
that may bond families more. Like if you
it
have
does.
enough, then you can be independent and you can like not have to rely on the rest of your family. But if you don't have enough and you have to rely on your family and somebody in your family comes through for you and somebody else would have been there too, then that's an extra bond that you don't see in all families.
Yes. Yes. And you do stick together because you want to, you know,
Right, exactly.
because you want to, and not because you have to, or because you're expected to. Expectations, boy, they're a son of a bitch. You know, other people's expectations, you know what I'm saying? We all have different expectations.
Mm,
So
that may or may not be responsible for my divorce.
oh well, I mean,
Undeclared expectations.
oh
They
hey,
are a
I'm
bit.
trying to teach that to my boys. You know, I'm like, look, I can't read your mind. I know, shocker, right? But I'm just like, just know that. And I said, I used to do this too. I used to be like, you know, it'd play out in my head and then I'd get disappointed. I'd be disappointed whenever it did not turn out the way it did in my head. And that's not fair on people around us because, you know, that's setting them up for failure. Because I mean, how do they know? Nobody can read your mind. So I don't know. It's just one of my things where, and so I've learned to just try it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm human. I have expectations, right? But I don't, I try to make them realistic and,
And known and expressed.
well, I don't know about express. I mean, well, I mean, it's so different since the murders happened. It's so different because it's like it made me appreciate my family way more than I did. It made me open up. It opened up my eyes to the fact that, oh shit, you know, they are important. Family is important. Like everything prioritized itself for me. It was just like, brrrt, you know, like, okay, it just filed where it needed to, where it needed to go. And then it just drove me sometimes crazy. It felt like, you know, sometimes it still does feel crazy,
Well, if you
but
don't
I
know,
still
if
don't
you
know how to connect.
exactly,
So we had
yeah,
the corona thing happen at the same time, and I was like, "Oh, I was built for this shit." Okay. This is my area, my wheelhouse, you know. Social distancing. Again, I used to think that I was a social butterfly, but that's when I used to drink. That's when I used to self-medicate with took pills for 8 years straight, you know, where when I finally did I'm telling you, I was just like, "What the hell?" I, like, had a come to Jesus meeting with myself, like, "What the fuck are you doing?" You know? Like, "What are you doing? It's stupid," you know? And anyway, so I was blessed in that sense to just be able to flip that switch. And I know that's not now I'm also not dumb or naive to know that when you have an addictive personality, it just transitions. So if you're doing something destructive, then like whenever me and my son were estranged for 6 years, I also started working at this refinery that paid me very well and I took pride in it. Like I wanted to be there and I felt productive. You know what I'm saying? Like in that aspect for sure. And a
Appreciated.
self-sustained, yeah, I could provide. And it made me feel good about, you know, my daughter who was still there, who again, it still affects that relationship I had with her because of my loss of my son and like mourning a child who's alive. That is the most paralyzing thing a parent ever has to go through. And this is where my heart is so big for Joe Ryan and other people who've gone through this. But Joe Ryan, he was trying to be there. My dad tried to be there too, but I didn't know that at the time. And when we're kids, we don't know what we don't know, you know? I mean, and so all these decisions are made for us. And sometimes things are portrayed to us and we just assume that's the version of it. And that's not it
Right.
at all. And so my dad didn't get a fair shake, and I mean, it's not my place to say, "Oh, dad, you need a fair shake." It's his place too. I mean, actually, I wrote a letter to my dad when I was 28, and I was like, it was very, very vile. I mean, I did. I was like, I was very disrespectful. I don't even want to say what I said, but I wrote him a letter and just was basically like, "Fuck you, off. Don't. You're dead. I'm dead to you. You're dead to me." You know, and that was just all the things that I had been assumed or told, or I don't know, up to that point. And and he called me immediately, and I was just like, "What?" um, I wasn't 28. I was 21. I'm sorry. And so I mean, he initiated it and then we just never let off from that point on. And I'm glad for what it is, for how it happened. It is what it is. And you can't go back and change things, but you can learn from each other, communicate with each other, and respect one another. And I respect him as a father. I respect my mom as a mother. Were they the best mother and the best father? Not by a long shot. Am I? Not by a long shot. Are any of us? Not by a long shot, if we're being honest. Because there's always, and when you're concentrating and focusing and striving for one part of your life in one aspect of your life, on the opposite side, there's something not being nourished and not being watered and not, you know, you're not sowing the seeds. You're not taking care of it. And so that is dying back there. And so it's usually a relationship or some aspect, maybe your personal life, maybe your dating life or your career. It's something, some aspect is not getting because it's impossible. And so this striving for perfection, striving to control everything in our orbit because we were abandoned or we were unmet needs, you know.
Or we're Mormon, because Mormon is a defeatist religion that teaches that you need to attain perfection in this
Worthiness.
world.
Yeah. You have
You
to be
need to
temple worthy.
not just temple worthy, but
Yeah,
you have to
heaven.
go through all of the
Oh God.
ceremonies. You have to do all of the things. You have to go on a mission. You have to get married in the temple. You have to get sealed in the temple. You have to have as many kids as you can possibly pop out, and you got to be sealed to
And
them.
then they have to stay on in the boat.
Mhm.
And then if they don't, then I mean it's impossible. It's an impossible thing, and I think it's set up that way on purpose.
Yeah, it says I think you call it a high pressure religion. I call it a defeatist religion. They're the same thing. You can
Yeah.
never attain the perfection that they teach you need to attain in this life. And so you're always underwater. You're always struggling to be better than you were. And we should all try and be better than we are today,
Right.
tomorrow, but
Mhm.
not perfect. Like we should
Mm-mm.
never have as a goal being perfect.
No, not exalted. Okay. This is when you're delusional. Okay, Lori. Like she's effing delusional in that I like, no, ma'am. And she is so wrong. Uh, whatever. I don't know. It is tragic. It is tragic what happened. It's so tragic. all the ripples that happened. And I mean, again, it's just a good, like Mom said, it is a cautionary tale. Unfortunately, and fortunately, hopefully it has saved other people from, and I'm used to, I'd never heard Lori and Chad's names being mentioned in the Mormon circles and ex-Mormon circles. And then because I mean, I was like trying to understand Mormonism, period, whether they were ex-Mormon or not. I didn't give a shit. I was just like, you're talking about that Joseph Smith guy that I've never heard of. You're talking about these things that are unique to Mormonism. And so I don't know, I appreciated that I was learning from them, but they never would acknowledge me. And I spoke out. I would say, "Oh, Chad, Lori," and they would never speak it. And anyways,
it's frustrating and encouraging at the same time.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to explain that, because I feel like maybe we were being heard a little bit more. And the more that you and I and Megan and her two friends that she had on the other night, gosh, I wish I could remember their names. But the more that we talk about it and the more that people are aware of it. So
and they were human.
two of my brothers are actually talking to me more about doctrine and the LDS church than they ever have my entire life.
Wow.
Like in the last couple of months. It is. And they're more.
That's all you got to do. That's a perfect example, Joe, of like opening that door where you're not pushing your beliefs as long as they're not pushing theirs, right? Let's have some respect there. And just respect one another enough to agree to disagree. And it doesn't have to be some freaking fallout or I'm not following you or just whatever. I've seen people leave because I was the day of Lori's sentencing. Summer Shiflett did her interview, but she couldn't show up to and yeah, I'm just saying, like she couldn't show up for Chad Daybell's sentence or not a sentencing the day. Oh my God, I'm getting my dates mixed up. Y'all, it's been a blur. Okay. Oh my gosh. Anyways, but I remember this one lady, I guess she was a lady, but she was like, "Oh, I'm not following you anymore." And I was like, "Well, what the fuck ever?" Yeah, like I'm not here for that. Like this is my family. This isn't just who I choose to follow and get my true crime story. Like this is not a game. Okay? It's not a choice. I don't have a choice. My mom, any of our families and friends of the victims, we don't have a choice. No matter what, we're stuck in this. And it's like, so I don't have that luxury. I'm gonna call it a luxury because it is. It's a luxury to be able to shut it off and not be like, oh no, I have to find this. Because that's, like I said, addictive personality. It just transitions. Now, is it destructive or is it constructive? Am I balancing? No, I've not balanced. I have neglected areas, right? I don't know how to balance myself more to where I don't shut people out. It's hard. And I know that. I'm aware of it. I just don't know. Like, I know I need to do something. I just don't know how.
Well, and anybody that tells you that they're perfectly balanced in their life is telling you
I know they're bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to call them out on that.
But Mormons do, though. Mormons will, though. Mormons
they
will
compete.
tell you.
They compete with one another, too.
They do. They'll be like, okay, I get up in the morning at 6 o'clock and I go exercise or I lift weights or I go to the gym and I come back and I read a half an hour in the Book of Mormon and then I eat cornflakes with banana slices. And then I go to work and I tell my coworker about the good news of Jesus Christ. And
then I go to my daughter's play and then we sold all the costumes and everything. And I'm just like, holy shit, pressure cooker. And it's like watching popcorn pop. It's like pop. Oh, there goes another one. They just busted. Like holy shit. Like it's scary. And it's sad. Like it hurts my heart. Like I'm just I don't
know how my sister-in-law does it. They have 8 kids, 6 of them are girls, and her oldest, my niece, just turned 17, and she's beautiful. All of them are beautiful. Like, all of their children are beautiful. The 6 young ladies are beautiful, and they've got to have like dozens of suitors, like asking them if they can take them to the church dances and all this other stuff. But they also have dance classes, they have volleyball, they have basketball, they have so many activities.
I'd bring them to the shooting range too. Since all that, I'm just saying, like, that's what I was thinking. I was like, yeah, just teach them how to, not a shooting range, but just teach them how to defend themselves, especially girls.
Yeah,
You know?
100%. And she's a rock star. My sister-in-law is a rock star. She used to be a teacher, an elementary school teacher. So she knows how to deal with children, and she's managing to deal with teenage girls now.
Wow.
Yes.
She's like a freaking crown or something. No. I mean, there's that, and that's
right.
just regular to them. To me, I would be like, oh,
right.
It'd be like that show that used to come on, trading, I don't know what it was, Wife Swap. And you know, 2 people, 2 couples or 4 couples, no, 2 couples from different aspects of different, you know, different spectrums of life.
I remember that.
And so rich person, you know what I'm saying? Big ballers, they go over there to the meat or to the vegetarian, just a total different, like a culture shock, I guess. And I don't know.
I dare anybody to go spend a week in my sister-in-law's shoes. I dare anybody to go do that. I would not wish that on anybody.
We don't walk in anybody else's shoes, so we don't know other people's struggles. They don't know ours. But that's what I try to teach, like Silas, you know. I'm like, I don't ever want him to be the bully. I don't ever want any kid to be a bully. But there's a reason the kid's being a bully, you know. Like, I'm like, you know, if you see a kid who doesn't really talk to anybody, you know, you go introduce yourself and try to show some compassion, some interest, some kind of friendship, you know. And because that might be the only time they get that in that day.
Okay, and that's not only maybe a positive experience for them that turns their day into a better day, but that may be the best experience for you. Like getting to know that person.
Yeah.
Like
that's how it feels whenever when I see a homeless person, you know, like, just to help. I remember one time, you know, we ran across this couple that were living in a tent and somewhere here around our area. And we were like, I don't know. I don't know how we got, I think he was like a brother of one of my exes or something. I don't know. He was older. I'd never really met him, but come to find out is what I'm saying. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I have so many of these things that I just want to give y'all, you know, just anyway. So I got it together, and Jason was like, Kresha, they live in a tent, babe. And I'm just like, well, yeah, but she might need this and they might need that. And he's like, but if they have to pack up in a hurry, you know, and I'm just like, oh yeah, okay. You know, but I let them have that choice, but I don't know. It just felt good to pay it forward, and they can do with it what they will, you know. I don't need it. What am I going to do? Let it rot? Let it sit there? I mean, there's so many times we found an entire, and look, and I sound so crazy saying this, but an entire dumpster full of medication that had not even expired yet, like Tylenol, just over the counter medication. And I was like, holy shit, you know, that's expensive too. And talk about preppers would have a heyday. And it started like whenever me and mom and my kids, we moved. Well, she moved to Houston, and there's this program, or I don't know what to call it. Basically like a show and sell, where you, people who have their homes for sale in an area. So this was Houston, but I mean, they have it everywhere in your city, where you, the homeowners, they don't live in their house, but it's for sale. And so there's like this, I don't know what to call it. There's like this business that happens where, I don't know, you communicate between the realtor and people can move in. Like my mom was like, okay. And so she moved into, it was like a 6,000 square foot freaking house in Jaeger. I just remember my kid went to Jaeger Elementary, and it was like, because I do not understand Houston. I'm just like, I just want to go home, to where I know the roads and I don't have to use the GPS to go to damn Walmart. Okay. But that was just me at the time. No offense to Houston. Love Houston. Have family, Uncle Jerry, Aunt Melanie, but anyway, so it was just too big for me. But at that time, my mom had started another office for their business there. It was kind of, they had started having different offices along the Gulf Coast. And so she went to start the one in Houston. And so she ended up in that. I don't want to call it a program. I don't know what it's called, but I'll call it a program. So she moved in, and then me and the kids went to in 6,000 square foot damn house. Okay. And so basically you work with a interior decorator who goes and stages the home. So you live there. You don't have to pay rent. You don't have to pay a house note, but you do have to pay like lights, phone, whatever your amenities are. You have to pay the groundskeeper. What do you call them? I'm blank today. For lawn care or whatever, to clean the pool, all those things. Okay. And so, I mean, it's a steal. We had an elevator. Okay. Me and my son, we were like, oh my God, we went in the elevator with the lights off and it was crazy. But my daughter had a room with a princess lookout and there were 2 master suites. So we were, I was in the upper master suite, and I mean, it was just different. I don't know. I've never lived anywhere like that before. And then again, I'm okay with not doing it ever again because I couldn't find my kids. We had the intercoms and I was like, Zach, Ashlyn, where you at? And I mean, it was just different. And so if like the realtor calls you and says, hey, I'm going to be showing the house, they give you like a 2-hour window, heads up, I guess. And so you have to kind of put away any personal things, easily. You can't have photos of like personal photos, or religious religious artifacts. Anyway, so it's staged. And so whenever somebody goes in to sell a house or show a house, the person who is looking at the house can kind of see it decorated, and you can kind of visualize, yourself living there, how the bed works in that room, how the lighting is in that room. I mean, just different things like that. And so I remember when I first moved there, so our interior decorator came over and her name was Joy. I know. But it wasn't spooky though, so that was one plus, okay? And it very well could have been. But it wasn't. And so Joy came over and I met her, and so I was drinking wine, she was drinking wine, and my mom went to bed, and the kids went to bed, my mom went to bed, and me and Joy just stayed up, and like I don't know, we were just decorating some hot glue gun everywhere. Just, we were decorating things. And she offered me a job, and I was like, hell yeah, I will go. Yes. I didn't know. She was like, you're so talented at this. And I was like, what? I just thought, I was always told that I like to rearrange things a lot, like my grandma, but that was about it. And so I got into that. We'd go and stage like these multi-million-dollar high rises. I think she took me to the country club, y'all. I was like, okay. She also couldn't pump her own gas. She didn't know how. And I didn't know how to open up her iPhone because it was new and I had a BlackBerry. And so I was like, how do you answer your phone? I don't know how, And then I was like, here, girl, I'll pump your gas. I got you, boo. But it was a cool job. It was a cool experience. And I'm glad. I wish I could explain it better.
You want to hear a crazy story about my grandma?
Yes.
She never got her driver's license ever.
Oh, I love her. I do. That's cool.
She worked at a liquor store that was like a mile and a half away from their house. Yeah. And she was robbed multiple times at the liquor store, but she walked there every day there and every day back. And she lived in northern Indiana. So winter is like 2 months longer in northern Indiana than any other place.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
She never got her driver's license though. ever. She refused.
I think that's really cool. That's really cool. I mean, to each their own. Hey, we didn't have to wear seatbelts. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We'd go down country roads in the back of a pickup truck. Like, everybody jump in. Let's go for a ride.
Yep. Oh, in the back of the truck. I remember riding from Holly Beach many a time. You know, sand slapping you because the wind's blowing, your hair's, yeah, you're sunburnt because you put baby oil on instead of sunblock.
I never did that. I can't say I ever put on baby oil.
We did. We would do that, and then we would, like, me and my two best friends, Missy and Terry, we would put it was iodine in baby oil, and we'd lather up, and then we'd go on a ladder to the top of the house, the roof, where it was black, and it would attracted the yeah, we were dumb. We were dumb. And you get one too many sunburns, and you're like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah. No Crisco? No Crisco for you?
Oh, yeah, it was straight Crisco. Look, I just sound like Diddy, huh? I'm just picking with the baby oil. I did not have white nails, people. I did not have white nails on.
You had your own Diddy parties on the roof.
I didn't have to have an ivy or anything. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my word.
I'm looking for, okay, I want to show you all real quick. I don't know if I can. I don't see anything coming up but let me see. I don't really see any. I have one picture of this store right here. Oh my gosh. And let's see. Am I on screen? No. Throw me on there. So this is Earl's Grocery, y'all. It used to have a big sign across the front right here. And it said Earl's Superette. This is on Kirkman Street. This is basically down, part of downtown. I was raised south of the Lake Charles, so 2204 Kirkman Street. This was my grandparents' convenience store that, they had this one and another one, which was even further into the urban area. And I mean, I was raised behind this counter. I was raised, from the time I would go there with my grandma, my mama Trahan, who would open up by her, she would open up in the morning and my papa would work the nights. So they slept in separate rooms at that point in time. But when I'd go, she'd pull up, right here. This was her spot in her big Suburban, her nice Suburban. And she would go in and then she would go back here to the kitchen and she would, from scratch, make biscuits, beignets, from scratch. Like, she'd go back there and get ready for her breakfast rush. And so the counter was right here. And these were just always locked. There's some tables in front of them, but I don't know. This is where I learned how to interact with people. It was a lot of small talk because people come in, cigarettes, beer, liquor. My papa, you couldn't sell liquor on Sundays. And so my other papa, my real dad's dad, okay, he would frequent the store. And so my two papas, but they didn't know. They didn't know that. But so my papa Eddie would go, and it was a Sunday, and so my papa Train would go to the door. He'd be like, "You ain't got any cops with you, huh?" And so he would sell them, allegedly, he would sell them some liquor on a Sunday.
I think we're past the. Oh God. Why did my mind just go blank? Statute of limitations. I think.
Right. I hope. I don't want to be a rat, but here I am.
But
is it rap or is it a storyteller? Yeah. Cinnamon.
Beignets with powdered sugar. Beignets.
I mean, look, this is. I looked out this window. Actually, I looked out on the side of this building, and there used to be a big tree right here, and I would just stare at it. There used to be some gas pumps right here, some old ones, and I'd work here from 3 to 11. After I'd get out of school, I'd drive straight down this road coming this way. And this is where I'd spend, after hours at school. After I got all my work done, I would study, do my homework, and close it down at 11 and then repeat. But it taught me a lot about, my mama taught me a lot about work ethic, hard work, how to treat people. I don't know. Just she taught me a lot about life, and I just really appreciate her because she was very impressionable in my life, and I needed her. I needed someone. She was my step grandmother, but you could there's no way, I was basically her favorite. So I mean, there's that. But
her favorite to teach that work ethic to is insane, because I feel like, just personally, allegedly, in my opinion, the new generations in this world don't know about that work ethic. And it's so hard to teach it to them because they're so resistant to it. Like, they have everything handed to them
this stuff.
on a silver platter. They have a cell phone in their hand that is a camera, that's a TV studio, that's a
GPS tracking map. It's all alarm clock. I mean,
they have everything handed to them and don't feel like they have to work for anything. And granted, my sons are good hard workers. All 4 of them turned out to be good hard workers. But I feel like I'm more lucky in that than blessed, because they just, I grew up, my dad taught me a work ethic. I started a paper route when I was 11 years old, and you're not supposed to start a paper route till you're 13.
Right.
So I started it early and had to go collecting every other weekend and ask people for money. Like, when you're an 11-year-old asking people for money,
you're like, what? That's like, I'd rather stick a needle in my eye,
And I felt that way too, but I had to do it anyway. And then I worked in a car wash, and then I worked in a donut shop. And then when I started college, I was working in the donut shop when I started college, but I mean, it goes on and on, fast food after that. And then like, it's almost a lost art. And but also, what is our minimum wage right now? Our minimum wage is like twice of what it was when I was a teenager, maybe 2.5 times. But
so is the cost of living, though, too.
Exactly.
Especially these days. It's crazy. I'm like, can y'all just, like, can we just go back to like, no money? Can we just, Jesus didn't have money. No, I don't know. Somebody's going to school me on that, but I just feel like he's not saving for the second coming like the churches are. And that's what I have to say about that.
Will we need cash for the second coming?
The LDS Church does.
Oh.
That's what they said.
Maybe we should talk about that sometime.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah. Yep. Like, I actually saw, oh my gosh, I got to think of the name of the channel, but I know Megan's going to be on it tomorrow night. And oh my God, I want to tell y'all this. So those of you who have been here for a while, whenever Tim Kosnoff, when I was researching about the hotline, the helpline, the whatever line, is at the same time that Lori was sent to the mental hospital or whatever, the mental health ward,
to do her 10 months of getting right to be
the spa is
competent.
what we call it. Yeah.
Is that when she was declared to be incompetent? Okay. Yeah.
And so her appeal is based upon quite a bit of this. So again, I still want to do a deep dive into that. But so at that time, and so this is whenever that big story came out and made huge waves in the Mormon in Arizona. It was a Vice news story. No, it was on Vice News. But again, at that same time, you had Tim Kosnoff. I first saw him on the Vice news story about the helpline because Tim Kosnoff was an attorney, a non-LDS attorney from around Houston area or somewhere in Texas. And I freaking connected with him so hard. Like, I even tried contacting him. I don't even know where that message, I emailed. I'm like, oh God, he's never gonna see it. He's got a lot on his hands. Boy Scouts of America, those lawsuits and everything turned into that. Well, and that's where I learned because he had to learn about Mormonism because of who he was defending. His clients were claiming abuse by the LDS Church, the Boy Scouts of America. the whole thing that Frank Vandersloot was like, he created East Idaho News because of it. Okay. And then, which in the future would cover my family's case and then be a name, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, wow. So this all ties to, it goes full circle because it's like Adam Steed's in the Boy Scouts. And then you have, it's so crazy. And anyways, I'm going way philosophical with it, but
No, but it needs to be done, because did you see, and it's been a couple of weeks, it's like sometime
thank
between
you.
the end of Lori's sentencing and now, that one of Nate's assistants messaged with Megan and said, "You are incorrect about your reporting on
Yeah.
East Idaho News and Frank Vandersloot."
Yep.
And she was like, "Well, I may have gotten something wrong, but I didn't get everything wrong," I think was her general response.
And she went and corrected it too.
So
I
they're
mean,
watching.
but it was
They're
minimal.
watching you. They're not watching me, but they're watching
They
you.
they
And they're
don't
watching me.
contact me, I'll tell you that. Okay. That's all. My phone does not ring and my email does not sting. And I mean, look, whenever one of our channel members, well, a friend of ours, really. I mean, again, I've met a lot of people through this. Thank you so much, Libby Dubate. I don't know how to say it still. Thank you. New curling iron fun. Whoop whoop.
No, she needs a burn treatment for the curling iron step on.
No, I need a new stepmama. That's what I needed. Okay. So don't let your spouses be ugly to your kids. Okay. And then, yeah. Anyways, but so I was, this is when all that stuff was happening with her and her incompetence. And I'm like, wait, so Mark Means, her attorney. So through her attorney, Lori is saying that, you know, she was given homework. She was assigned homework to go and contact a new lawyer. Okay. And this is right at the same, she was not indicted yet. Or not formally. I'll tell you that. Not formally. Because Chad was indicted and then boom, she went to the psych ward. And then on April 17th, I think, in 2022 is when whenever me and my mom and dad went to Rexburg. It was my second time being there that time. And that's when I saw her in the courtroom there. But she pled not guilty. But she had Jim Archibald and she had John Thomas, which that's when, they recommended her for the death penalty. And it makes me wonder, did they recommend the death penalty just to get around that? Like to get around Mark Mean? I don't know. I need to go and do some research into this so I can stop speculating so much, because it appears to be one way in my, like as I'm going through it, but I'm sure it'll appear a whole different way, or at least slightly for sure, if I go and look at that, this many years later.
Yeah, the lens of truth makes things look different when you look back on certain things.
Yeah. It's true.
And
how I feel today is not.
That's like one of the most frustrating things about Delphi for me right now. I can't even get into Delphi right now, and there have been so many videos and documents and evidence released that I can't get into it, because I asked for these things after post-conviction. So after his post, so I'm kind of being redundant there, but post-conviction, I sent FOIAs to the Carroll County Sheriff's Office to the FBI, and they both denied them, but somehow they got released like 4 or 5 months later. Like just magically they get released 4 or 5 months later, not to me, to everybody else. I'm like, what is going on here? It's so frustrating.
Yeah.
And we need to see that in Lori and Chad's cases too. Just as much as was released for Koberger, we need to see all of that stuff released
Yeah,
And
I'm like, now I'm
JJ and
like, whoa,
Tylee's
what the
deaths.
hell?
Yeah.
Because
Yep.
Arizona released all their stuff before both trials went,
Yep.
both in both states. So I'm like, what the hell, Idaho? I'll share this story right here.
Oh,
I
hold
did
on.
pull this
All right.
up. This is
Oh,
a story on this kind of a little bit of a little taste. It'll give you a little taste. And it's from Fox 13 News. Adam Herbert. Let's shut that up. Moroni is rocking.
I don't want to look at his butt though. I'm
I
sorry.
hope
Can you
it's
turn
gonna
it on?
play. Sometimes they don't have these anymore. Let's see. Okay, good. Not getting duped.
For
Okay,
clarification on
dude
this
is wearing
policy,
a white shirt and a tie. He's LDS. Sorry, white
No,
shirt
he's
tie.
not. He's
He's
not.
not for real.
Nope.
Adam
And
Herbert.
he's the one reporter I actually reached out to about SRA being in our
So,
case. And
so
it took a lot.
is he trying to like blend in with the
He
Mormons?
lives there. But don't you have to? I mean,
Yeah, you kind of do. Yeah, okay. I'll give him
especially,
that.
media. Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, Bob Kelly, when we reached out to the church for clarification on this policy, a spokesperson told us the reason they're asking leaders to reach out is so they can tell them no. Quote, that's the whole point, is that local leaders shouldn't get involved in any type of court case. We've spoken to attorneys, we've spoken to members of the church, and we've spoken to former members of the church who say that statement causes them concern about obstruction of justice.
To have the church put out a statement like this, I'm really concerned about it.
Joanna Smith is a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints who says she is not afraid to speak up, even if that means disagreeing with the prophet.
She is a effing pot stirrer. Okay. I just want you to know that. I love this lady.
I love pot stirs.
Yep.
Let's go. I'm in it with her.
I have been called less of a Mormon multiple times over my life. Mormonism's in my blood. It's who I am.
In this case, she's concerned about a letter, a reminder outlining a policy that would prevent leaders from getting involved in any court case without permission from the church. Quote, however well-intentioned, church leaders sharing information in legal proceedings can sometimes be misinterpreted and even damaging.
I think it's very clear what their priorities are. Maybe not for a corporation, but for a religion, I definitely think that victims should come first.
The letter was sent out on August 4th, the same day an Idaho judge ruled that the case against Chad Daybell.
Yes.
She just said for a corporation. This isn't a corporation. It's an organization. Isn't it both?
No, she said it's not okay for a corporation. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, rewind like 30 seconds because corporation and organization, that was her, are the same in this case, right?
I don't know.
You and I
didn't dissect it that much. I mean, I haven't seen this in a hot minute too. So
listening to
legal proceedings can sometimes be misinterpreted and even damaged.
Well, let's just read this though, real quick. To general authority. So this is from the church to members of Chad's ward, basically, for sure. There's a policy reminder. Okay. So this is to general authorities, general officers, and the following leaders in the United States and Canada, Area 70s, stake, mission, district, and temple presidents, bishops, and branch presidents, members of ward and stake councils.
Okay, if you're not familiar with the Mormon Church, this is like to all of the local people, and the people overseeing the local
Rob
people.
Wood was a bishop, is all I'm saying.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I don't know if he was in Chad's ward, but why not? Why wouldn't he be? Anyways, but okay, so dear brothers and sisters, and this says involvement in legal proceedings. Mind you, Tylee and JJ had just been unearthed from Chad's property. Okay. We remind leaders and members of a long-standing policy that church leaders should not involve themselves in civil or criminal cases regarding members in their units, quorums, or organizations without first consulting, Curtin McConkie is what it should have said, the church legal counsel, see general handbook, blah, blah, blah. This same policy applies to leaders corresponding with court personnel on behalf of criminal defendants or others, including through email. Highlighted here, it says, however well-intentioned, church leaders sharing information in legal proceedings, in Chad and Lori's cases, can sometimes be misinterpreted and even damaging. Such sharing can be especially harmful to victims. I'm sure they're so looking out for our family and the victims. I'm sure can be especially harmful to victims and their families. Following the church's policy also keeps the church from being inappropriately implicated in legal matters. If a leader believes he or she should testify or communicate in a legal matter.
Stop. Inappropriately implicated, not wrongfully implicated, inappropriately implicated. In other words, if the allegations might be true and the church might be implicated, we don't care. We just care that it doesn't get reported to the authorities. Holy shit.
I mean, President Oak said something about, even if the criticism is true,
Holy shit. My mind is blown. I haven't seen this before. So you're blowing my mind right now. And you're making me want to call an 801 number and report something.
Don't call the 1-800-LD. Don't call the damn helpline, Joe. Don't do it.
I want to. I so want
Kurt
to.
McConkie will be there and you'll get locked up. They'll put you in the damn Granite Mountain.
I have a cross over my front door. Just kidding. But I have a cross over my front door. So
and old priest and a young priest.
It'll keep them back.
Oh shit. Okay. So it says if a leader believes he or she should testify or communicate in a legal matter, or if a leader is being required to do so by a legal process, Gabe Bonilla, I'm just saying, or Alice and Todd, Alice, wait, what was their last name? I don't remember. That leader must contact the office of general counsel at church headquarters at whatever.
It doesn't say should, it says must. This is an SOP. This is a standard operating procedure letter. It says must, not should, not this is the best policy. It said
demand.
You must contact the church before you contact police.
Not spiritual matters.
Must.
Even though if you're not paid and you're just a layman, they sure treat you like as if you are on payroll. Except whenever it's reporting abuse of a child, sexual abuse or any kind of abuse, they just don't, that's when they want to claim religious whatever.
Privilege,
this is when they want to exploit the Constitution and what's the other thing? The what is it called? Oh my God. Oh, I'm dumb today. Not just the Constitution, First Amendment, right? Amendment.
The right to free speech. The separation of church and state. Separation of church and state is probably what they're going for here, but
it's not what they do.
No.
Because this is authoritarian. This is like, hey, we're your church, but yet why are you telling all these people up here?
We have like 150 people watching now. We should have 150,000 people watching this. Like, I'm not exaggerating.
This did back when it happened.
Oh my God.
This was in 2020. And so check this next part out. Okay. So you'll see the timing.
I think it's very clear what their priorities are. Maybe not for a corporation, but for a religion, I definitely think that victims should come first.
But they do act both. If you really look at that.
Exactly. That was the point that I made. That's why I had to go back. Yes. Exactly.
And look, August 4th, 2020. All right. That's when that was mailed out.
When were JJ and Tylee's remains found?
June 9th, 2020. But hold on. I'll just let them tell you instead of me doing it about when this August 4th.
Letter was sent out on August 4th, the same day an Idaho judge ruled that the case against Chad Daybell will continue to trial.
All right.
Daybell is an LDS author.
Okay. This was the same day. This is the preliminary hearing of Chad. It was a couple days. We had David Warwick, Melanie Gibb testify, a couple of police officers. We had Ray Hermosillo testify. This is when they're basically trying to say, hey, we have enough to hold him over to trial. So this was, I thought it was like 2 days. This is 2 days after. We were already 2 days into the preliminary hearing. So it had been going on 2 days already. And this is also the same judge, Edens, that Lori recused, which I found interesting. Now I find it interesting for sure.
At Daybell,
wait. What do you mean Lori recused? Lori asked to be recused and it was
No,
granted?
in Idaho, you can recuse one judge.
Oh,
Just
shit. Okay. Just throwing a spitball out here. Who do you think she would have had recused in Phoenix if that was allowed?
I wish you would recuse yourself. And he's like, no. And I loved how he told her, Judge Bresky was like, I'm going to be here. I don't care if we go to court to trial in August, whenever, I'm going to be here for it. So,
and Judge Green said, nope. Judge Green said, bye-bye.
Yeah. And there was no merit. There was no basis. It was just, hims don't like me, basically. Like
he told me no. He told me no. Nobody tells me no. Right?
They do have merit, How dare you? It's so Barry Jr., I swear.
The same day, an Idaho judge ruled that the case against Chad Daybell will continue to trial.
All right.
Daybell is an LDS author accused of having extreme religious beliefs. In June, police found the bodies of his wife's 2 missing children buried in his backyard.
Too many members are going to read this and say, well, I can't testify.
You're encouraging people to be complicit in these terrible events, and that is irresponsible. It's a form of coercion. It's a danger to our society.
Employment attorneys say it is perfectly legal for a company, or in this case, a religious organization.
This next dude is so triggering to me. He reminds me of Garrett Smith, the attorney for Zalema. Speaking of, for Zalema, for Summer, and for, oh my God, Melanie Boudreaux and Ian.
What?
So,
wait, what?
Garrett Smith.
There's one attorney representing all 3 of those ladies?
Yeah, but he also had to pay Brandon Boudreaux, him and his partner had to pay
$12 million.
$12 million. Right? So it's just, anyway, so whatever. But I mean, anyways, it's just so.
I might recuse myself after that. I might be like, I screwed up. I'm out of here.
Yeah, royally.
To have a policy asking members to consult legal counsel. But if there is in fact a blanket policy behind closed doors that prohibits leaders from testifying or responding to a subpoena, that would be illegal. Obstruction of justice.
This is no different than the culture of silence that led to the abuse of these kids in the Catholic Church.
Well, I don't think it's asking for permission. I think it's consulting.
Stephen Paul is a local attorney and member of the church who received the letter. He says getting legal advice is never a bad idea, and he has faith that the church will make fair decisions, not try to obstruct justice.
The organization.
What the fuck does this have to do with the church? Okay. Well, so the church, in my opinion, inserted itself. This is when I was pissed. Like, I was like, oh, hell no. You don't just involve yourself. You don't entangle yourself within, if you're not, in my opinion, that's how I saw it. I was like, if you're not freaking involved and you're trying to stir it, like you're trying to guide it, you're now trying to navigate it. So, oh my God, we got to get into those documents next time because this pisses me off all over again. And it hurts because the church never said their fucking names ever, not one time.
Nope,
Still.
Not once. But if you concede to their involvement at some level, any level, and that lame ass fake tree sitting to his right.
It's a ficus. Just kidding.
I have faith that the church will operate fairly.
I mean,
that was his statement.
The church's place to do? No.
Like, and to have faith in any organization to operate fairly, there are checks and balances and repercussions.
And they're telling him what he can and cannot do legally.
Right. And so you
he's like, okay.
You rely on the system, not on the organization, like our legal system at some point you have to rely on. This is nonsense.
Because if you also provide for the system, then and the system provides for you, they keep you connected and plugged in to the network. Once you lose faith of any magnitude, then you're shunned and then you're pushed out. Then you're, why
You're
can't
not
you leave us
protected.
alone?
You're not protected anymore after that.
And that's
No.
exactly, if y'all remember when Chad and Lori had that little spat or whatever, and she was like, just do whatever, just be with your family. And he was like, you're going to have to send me an emoji or a thumbs up or something. And I'll restore your protection back. And I'm like, oh my God, what the hell are we looking at right now? This is some weird shit. And she's like, thumbs up or something. I don't know what she said, but it was something stupid. If you're for me, if you're not for me, you're against me. If it's just polarizing as all get out.
So is the church, though. That's what the church does. You're either
That's what
for
they
the
do.
church
Exactly.
or against the church.
Satan's after me. It's never like I did something wrong. It's because Satan deceived me. Therefore, Satan's accountable. Somebody else is accountable. Trust me.
That's my excuse when I get to the pearly gates. I'm just saying. That's my excuse.
Wow. I mean, it just is. I see it a lot, like in these cases, at least, I got to do some more digging to broaden my research. Whatever. I'm gonna shush. Let's listen to him.
That the church will make fair decisions, not try to obstruct justice.
The organization has been under attack throughout the centuries.
Religions.
Did you hear that shit?
He is LDS and he's not wearing a white shirt and tie. That's the only thing I noticed.
This dude is like, we're being persecuted still.
And he's got his garment. Hold on. No. He's got his garments on. Look under his collar. He has his garments on.
My mouse was stuck on it and it was moving when my mouse moved. And I'm sorry. Yeah, right there.
Look. Yeah, he's got his garments on.
Charles had his on too in the body cam. I didn't realize it till about 2 months ago.
They didn't protect him either.
Nope. Speaking of, oh my God, bamboo shirts, huh? Anyways, all right.
Organization has been under attack throughout the centuries.
Religions in the U.S. should not be interfering with legal proceedings.
The church told us this is not a new policy. This is not sent out in response to any particular case, and they have sent it out before. As a reminder, back in 2010, I asked,
what happened in 2010? Is that when Elizabeth Smart was missing? What global or what story that could maybe tarnish the church's image was happening in 2010? That's an interesting question.
So Lori and your Uncle Charles were married in 2006-ish?
Yeah. I don't know if they were ever married or sealed in the temple, but he was paying tithing. I have receipts right here. And he was wearing garments and stuff and going to the temple. So I don't know what that means.
You don't get your garments unless you receive the Melchizedek
endowments.
Yes, the endowments, right.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I mean, that's what I had to assume. I don't know. I haven't looked, but I don't think there's a record of it. Haven't seen anybody bring anything forth like that. I don't know where to go look for all that stuff. So I leave it to the Mormons and ex-Mormons and people who dig into that kind of stuff.
Or have lived it, and I did for a little bit. I never got my endowments though. I never got my garments. So
hallelujah.
Maybe, just maybe, I won't be cast into outer darkness when I meet my final destination. Maybe it won't be outer darkness.
Isolation is the Mormon version of hell. To be alone.
It is.
To be separated from the rest of the congregation.
Like even Hitler does not get cast into outer darkness.
Right. Yeah. Because he's not an apostate.
Yes.
In their eyes. And they've baptized or whatever, 6 times already. And Frank. I mean, Okay, we've probably all been baptized in there, okay? So what do we do to rebuke that shit on a spiritual level? Okay, that's what I want to know because that is offensive as shit to me. Like when I was like, oh my God. Because I mean, I was listening to Julie Rowe trying to figure out what the hell is going on with all this stuff, right? Trying to figure what they believe, what they don't believe. And she's like, she went from like having a 501c3, okay, which is suspicious, called the Greater Tomorrow Relief Fund. And it was to help people during the apocalypse, basically. And then it transitioned into soul trafficking. She was saving people from soul trafficking. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? And how do you prove that? Where's your receipts? How are you doing this? How are people's donations? How are you? What is this? You know? And that's when you know it's a sham too. You know, it's just like, sorry, girl. We don't do the ghostesses.
Okay. So Mormons do baptisms for the dead. I'm going to turn on my camera just for a second. Mormons do baptisms for the dead and other ceremonies for the dead in the LDS temples. And they do these whether people want them or not. So they go back into history and they find out your family history, my family history, your neighbor's family history, your church's family history. And they pull up those names and they say, these people were not ever Mormon and they didn't ever join the Mormon Church, but we are going to be baptized for them on their behalf so that they can get into heaven, whatever level of heaven that is, telestial, terrestrial, celestial, whatever kingdom that is that they can join. If you did a baptism for them after they were dead, we're going to do that.
They could accept the real gospel in
Yes.
afterlife. Which,
Yes.
I mean, again, here we go with we don't believe in reincarnation, but yet you have a pre-mortal life, you have a mortal life, and then you have an afterlife, and that is 3, my friends. Whatever. Whatever. What the hell ever. I'm here. Just like they said that we didn't send it out. We didn't send this policy or this reminder out because of that. I'm like, yeah, sure you didn't. Okay. Yeah, you did.
This policy prevent a leader from responding to a subpoena. The church said they cannot speak on that.
Oh, wait.
We're live in Temple Square. Or as a reminder, back in 2010, I asked, would this policy prevent a leader from responding to a subpoena? The church said they cannot speak on that. We're live in Temple Square. Adam Herbets, Fox 13 News.
You can't answer whether or not a leader of your organization will respond to a subpoena?
No, he was saying that he asked what would happen if a leader was subpoenaed. He said, and they didn't respond, is what he's saying.
Right. They said, we can't answer that. Yeah, you have to respond to a legal subpoena. What the? You think you're okay? All right. I guess
and just
that
know
shows
that Doug
us
Anderson. Oh, go ahead.
That shows us where they're at. Like they're above the law. Like how many people do we know that are like that? They're above the law. Lori, maybe Sarah
One
Boone.
world.
Like
one world religion, y'all. I'm telling you.
Diddy above the law.
So that channel that Megan's going to be on tomorrow is, oh my God, it's like something. I don't remember it. I don't know, but I love the lady, and I'm just like, oh my God. So Megan's going to be on there. Tim Kosnoff, that attorney's going to be on there. And so She Became Visible. That's the name of it. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm chomping at the bit, like I would love, I just didn't feel safe, and I wanted to talk to an attorney that would look at the church like that. He was knowledgeable about the church, and I didn't know what to do. Like I was freaking out because there was no Megan at that time. I didn't know her, I didn't know she existed until she, came out in Boise during Lori's trial. That's when she first came up on the media, you know what I'm saying, like on the scene. And then still didn't talk to or get to meet her or whatever till the kids' memorial. in Idaho, and that was 2023. 24 Chad's trial. And so and even still, you know, we weren't, I don't know if we had each other's phone numbers or not, but I mean, anyways, it just hit and miss and just trying to figure this out. And I just,
Yeah, I
I
met
feel like I was doing
her.
it all by myself, you know.
I met her during Lori's first trial, and
In Idaho?
no, not Idaho, Phoenix.
Oh,
I didn't go to Idaho.
well, that was
I
her first.
actually didn't follow Idaho at all. Like I did not listen to those audio hearings at all.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I only watched Chud's trial because it was televised and it was like the soup of the day.
Oh, God. Oh, it was
Soup.
horrible.
What? So,
But I was happy that John Pryor, it was at least combative with Melanie Gibb. You know, like I was here for it because I don't give a shit about either. You know, I'm just like, I want the damn truth and I don't care
exactly. And the
what
people that,
and who.
so both sides want to suppress something on both sides. And when you have one side come out like contesting the other side, like it results in better truth than if they both ignore it, right?
Yep.
Like if he hadn't challenged Melanie Gibb on some of those questions, we wouldn't have some of those answers now. So, but
Exactly. And
having
we wouldn't
said
call
that,
her in so many damn lies.
right, having said that, he's a disgusting human being that accepted that property in payment for his legal services. Like that is disgusting, and I will never not think it's not disgusting. All right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so I want to definitely dig into this aspect because there's other angles. There's the whole her whenever she was at the mental health. Why do I have a hard time with that? The whatever the
Is that what
hospital.
this document is? Is this about her
Well,
mental
no,
health?
I'm just giving different visuals, but this is the letter to the church members of the ward. You know, the one we just
With
covered in that
Russell
news
M.
story.
Nelson, that looks like a hand signature. Like that doesn't look like a digital signature. That looks like he signed that by hand.
I can't make it larger, so. But yeah. And that's not even his excommunication or disfellowship. I mean, really, if let's just say again, if you were in the second anointing, then does it? I mean, if he was, if he wasn't, if they're members, if they're not, is irrelevant to me. Like it's, I don't, you like, I don't, I don't have any stock in that. You know what I mean? Like I don't sustain shit in the LDS world. I never did, you know, but I respected it at first because I was like, "Oh, okay," when I realized what a Mormon looks to the leaders as and sees them as the medium between them and God. Like God, they speak for God. And so when they say something, that's God telling them, you know, the person something, the member something. So it's like, but you can have your own personal relationship, your own personal revelations, right? So it's like, okay, but only this big. Like you can only ride the ride if you're this big, you know, like this tall. But if those revelations get bigger, and I don't even think it's that. I'm telling you, I don't think it's that at all. I think those are all just facades. I think those are covers. I don't think that they believe in Jesus. I think they use Jesus and they're good actors, just like Tim Ballard. I mean, hello. And they laugh all the way to the bank. They laugh all the way to the bank. And so they've sold their souls already. So they definitely don't care about anybody else's for sure.
Okay. So let's make a little differentiation right now because I need to, because of the people that I know that are members of the church that do believe in Jesus and do believe that they are in a quote unquote Christian religion and are paying their tithing faithfully, dutifully, 10%, and would never unalive their spouses or their new spouses, ex-spouses, or their children. how do we differentiate between the leaders in the church and the ones that are in the upper echelon that are taking advantage of this, and like the everyday boots on the ground people in the chapel, members of the church?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So you have Tim Ballard, you have Gordon Bowen, you have other disgusting individuals doing disgusting things. And then you have people who go to church on a Sunday morning in a Mormon chapel and pay their 10% and contribute to that at some level, but don't know they're contributing to that.
Mm-hmm.
How do we reconcile that? It's the same with it's the same with any high demand religion, right? That's like Catholicism. Like,
it's polarizing.
It is.
And it shouldn't be. It should not even be considered. Just like child abuse being reported should not even be it's a non-issue. Like, it should just be what you do. So I have learned that we have to teach people, especially in that system, to just leave their bishop and their spiritual side out of it and contact the police first, then deal with it spiritually, right?
What if there's not actual abuse? What if it's just like
Charles? I mean,
yeah, exactly. Yes.
He did both, though. He did both. He did both, church and state. And does the church own the state? You know, I mean, where are we going with this? You know, because Chad and Lori were in the legal system in Idaho, yet here the church is stepping in, and then shit changed after that. And you know, like Mark Means was disqualified, which I mean, I'm here for it, but also it just something's really fishy there. The way it went down. You know, your mental health practitioner or whatever technician should not be assigning you, if she did, homework, should not be assigning Lori homework to basically watch Chad's hearing from that day, which was October 5th, 2021. I know that because that's the first day I ever did a live stream and played that played that hearing. And so Lori, I believe, ended up calling Curtin McConkie, which is the in-house, you know, the church's freaking attorney team. And she talked to Daniel McConkie. And then he actually confirms that, if you think about it, because then he calls Rob Wood. But then when Mark Means tried to bring him to the mat, you know, like, come on, let's see come on, Rob Wood, you know, produce this, produce that church, produce this. I mean, it's a long ass filing, but it's interesting as all get out. And it's also a part of her appeal.
If you have any kind of history in the Mormon Church, you know the name McConkie from Bruce R. McConkie. Like, he's an OG from my childhood, and I'm
Bruce R. McConkie.
Yes, Bruce R. McConkie.
Of Mormon doctrine, which if you read that, it sounds really about how Lori and Chad believe. Which, if we're being honest here, the church is prophesied to become corrupt, and the Church of the Firstborn is basically what Jesus Christ is going to usher in to Zion. And the Church of the Firstborn is Zion. It is New Jerusalem. It's the same thing. It's just different names for the same thing.
And we just
it's the title, and it's really the New World Order. Okay,
that's more than the title, though. That is the connection from how we flip the script from positive to negative, from good to evil, is what you just said.
Like, I've been saying it for 6 years, or for 4 years.
Right. But that's the connection to everyday people, everyday Mormons, everyday non-Mormons that know Mormons.
Legally, like, I could communicate that and be like, oh, so that's what's going on. I mean, but that's what it is. So, and then you have to think about this too, how Mormons believe that Jesus and Satan they teach this, that Jesus and Satan are brothers. When Jen told me this, my friend, I was like, I mean, I don't know because I wasn't there, and I don't know. I'm not the know all be all, you know. I'm not biblical. I don't know scriptures. I just know what I was taught, and that is not at all. That is not at all it. You know, like Jesus and Satan are not brothers.
That's what
And then
I was
Satan
taught.
was the freaking firstborn. So you do the
Lucifer
math.
was. Yes.
So
As
okay,
a
you know.
Mormon who grew up with Mormon indoctrination, Lucifer was the firstborn. Yes, that's what I
So what do you
remember
do with
being
that
taught.
if the church is prophesied, regular mainstream belief is prophesied to basically transition to the church of the firstborn if Lucifer is the firstborn? So is what Chad and them were doing was prophesied. I mean, it's in the damn scriptures. So and the church does appear to be corrupt. I'm just saying. No, you know what I'm saying? Like just the logistics of it, like just to be like, oh, you know, it. So are they ushering in the church of Lucifer? But yet that's what they're saying. Oh no, they're fringe. They're Church of the Firstborn. That's what Orville LeBaron was too. Oh wow, you know. And you start to put these things together, and it's like, oh my god, that's what's happening.
Ermagerd. I think it's pronounced Ermagerd.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's wild. This has been a wild ass journey, if I can say that. It's been crazy. It's been eye-opening. It's been disheartening. It's also been a big letdown too. But on the other side of that is humanity and the best of humanity. And I've seen both sides. You know, it's like, I know I'm not alone. And I just really appreciate you guys for giving me the space to talk these crazy things out. You know, like it doesn't make sense in my own mind, but it's not my crazy. And I'm just trying to understand their crazy. And it's like I'm talking gibberish above my own gibberish, you know? So it's like
You're
it's
not
like trying
alone.
to translate.
You're not alone, and you won't ever be alone. We're here for you. And
Thank you.
I'm grateful, and I don't know if you are, so you'll have to tell me that you got a chance to give your victim impact statement on July 25th. That hopefully that provided some form of therapy for you, some form of healing, some form of closure.
It did. Not closure, but definitely, yes, healing. It was healing to see my mom there, Larry, Colby, Brandon, his family, my Uncle Jerry, my Aunt Melanie was there, my cousin Amber. I mean, just all of us. Jason was there, Silas was there. You know, I mean, just our family was there, united. We got to walk out of there, and Vicky got to say, "Lori, rot in prison." I mean, we were there for it, right? Nancy Joe walked out on it. I mean, you witnessed it. Trace was there. I mean, I'm just saying, it's very compelling. It's very compelling, and I mean, it gives me chills right now just saying that. And I mean, like my mom said in her victim impact statement to Lori was, they're not here. We're not here to watch, like to see you because you're glamorous or anything. We're here to look at the I don't know how she said it, but to look at the circus or whatever, the sideshow.
The circus freak. She is a circus freak.
And that was the best. I was like, yes, that's it. That's it. She thinks she's famous, but she's infamous. She's infamy. She's a cautionary tale. She's not a goddess. She is not exalted. She is in prison.
She's a bearded lady. She's a bearded lady.
Yeah. And I mean, she tried, and I still say they tried to snuff out the most powerful beams of light, but you can't snuff that out, you know, because it's their legacies, their memories still go. They still continue. So that's what we're here for. And you know, their blood was spilled for this, and it will not be in vain ever, not on my watch.
No.
So
You know, I put on that wristband. I put on that wristband that I got from your mom that says Justice for Tylee, JJ, and Charles on the day that she gave it to me. It was somewhere like a few days into the first trial. And I have never taken it off. Never.
They end up stretching out. Does it, on the inside of it, does it say love always wins? Because then I didn't have those made if it doesn't. Because I made some.
No, the one I have doesn't say that.
Well, damn. So those must be the ones that it doesn't matter. I just wanted to know because
you're gonna have to send me another one. No, god damn it.
I'd put it's not written in bold, it's just embossed on the inside, you know, love always wins. Right. And so you have to like see it like up close to, or you can feel it with your finger, but you can't read it far away. I did that in case we were ever in court and we could turn it around. But still be rocking, you know. Oh yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I did the purple. I did those colors like that. And because orange for the Houston Astros, you know, and then purple was the color designated for Tylee, and the color designated for JJ was blue. So yeah. Well, she did a really good job because I couldn't tell the difference. Janine's awesome.
I'm gonna just say for the record, screw the Houston Astros because they're cheaters. I'm an Atlanta.
Well, he ended up not playing for him anyway, so he blew out his. I want to say he blew out his knee. I don't. I'll have to ask Allison again. Jesus was the firstborn of all creation. Satan was first angel and rebelled against God. Thank you for saying it because I don't know how to put things into words, especially tonight. So, God, it's just so much to track. You know, I don't. It's like I'm losing it a bit, I guess. It's not fresh in there.
But that's how I remember
hearing that. And I went, so when I told Jen that, she was like, what? And I mean, she had already left the church, you know, disenroll, like resigned from the church or whatever, had her name removed. And it was this silence, you know, between us. And she was like, what? You know, like, oh my God, just a big wave of their caca, you know, hitting her again. And I was just like, oh man, you know, this is tough. And it's like, I don't ever, it's not like my intention to be like, oh, you're wrong, I'm right. You know, I was just like, oh no, I don't think that's how that goes. But that was a big eye-opening thing for me too, because I was like, oh my God, this is the mainstream thought, you know? So let me factor that in and try to figure this out and size it up a little more. And that's huge. That's ginormous, you know? And so they go, and so that's when they introduce like Adam and Eve, and then the Cain and Abel thing. And they do that in their temple movies or whatever productions. I don't know. Which you have to think that's got a huge level of fantasy. It's dripped in it, you know, because people are watching a play or a movie to connect with.
Sci-fi fantasy drift is huge in Mormon doctrine.
Like yeah, look at Twilight.
Orson Scott Card is a foundational. You don't? Oh my gosh!
No, I do know that last name. I've seen it in other elite circles. You know,
so
the last name.
He wrote a short story that in like the late 70s, early 80s, and won the Nebula Award and another award.
Did he have a film company or something? A media
company?
No.
He had Ender's Game. He had Ender's Game produced as a movie a few years ago with Harrison Ford. But
okay, hold on. Yeah,
he has a whole sci-fi series of books that are very, very much Mormon doctrine adjacent. Like you can look at them and say, this isn't Mormon doctrine, so I'm not claiming it as Mormon doctrine, but you can also be a Mormon and be like, oh, I could believe that totally could happen, that I could be a god and I could procreate and
be exalted,
and be
immortal.
exalted and populate Earth for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's very adjacent to those.
Yeah, it's the slippery slope.
Yes, exactly.
And these, I've seen people do this on forums and stuff that are, I believe they were Mormon. That's how they sound, or what they were talking like. And they were comparing themselves to, which I've never seen Harry Potter. I've never read it. I know the characters, I've seen photos and stuff about it, but I've never watched the Narnia thing either. Anyways, I just don't, so I don't, when Chad compares himself to being under the stairs with, or like, oh my God, he figured out who he was that night. He was like, I don't know the word. I can't think of it right now. I need some sleep, I guess. I'm tired. I've had a long day, not a long day, but a long day. I'm telling you.
All right.
It's been a crazy one.
Are you ready to wrap it up then?
If only Barry Cox had wrapped it up, then we wouldn't be here.
Oh my gosh, you didn't go there.
I did, just like that. I hijacked it and I brought it to reality real quick. Solving problems since 78. I'm just picking. Joking.
Oh, no, she's 52, so she was born in 73. He needed to wrap
No,
it
she's
up
25 plus 25 plus 2 or whatever the hell.
Yeah, 52. Yeah, so that's 73. She needed to wrap it up. He needed to wrap it up in 73.
And then again, when Alex was born, he should have wrapped it up.
Oh my God, yes, right?
But still bring those babies, like still have Colby and Tylee and, definitely just give them some real godly parents. Anyways, I don't know. That's some crazy shit, man. It's just some crazy shit. Woo! You never know. One day you may have an aunt who becomes Lucifer and you're like, what? Yeah, that's Aunt Satan. And so just know, no one is exalted. That means it can happen. I know it's crazy, but it can happen. Crazy happens all the time. All right, enough of that. Thank y'all so much. Thank you for the super chats and the super stickers too. Appreciate that.
We have some to go through. Let's show those. Teresa, she claps for
thank
herself.
You.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, she did.
I'm just saying thank you.
And
I know Lil Brands did too.
We already answered that. Someday we'll talk more about your dad, Gerald. I like that question.
Awesome.
But
I'm not on that screen. I'm sitting there looking for something else.
It's okay. We'll answer it later. We'll talk more about your dad,
Maybe
Gerald.
I'll have him on one day. Because I do have a little brother who's 6. And I have another brother who's about...
What? That's crazy.
Yeah. I'm like,
that's
Dad,
crazy.
Both both boys, both of my 2 little brothers are, they're younger than my kids.
You should be like, okay. Dad, didn't you learn to wrap it up?
That's right. I was just thinking that too. And then I'm thinking like, as long as he doesn't have another girl, then I'll be okay. Because then, I'll be his only girl, I have to be his only girl.
Then we're going to
Anyway, he's the one that named me. So there's
okay. So tell us about that. Where does Kresha come from? Because that is such an unusual name.
It comes from my dad, just like I just said. No, it did. Oh. My dad actually wanted to name me Kresha, but then one of his friends, I forget her name. Anyways, she was like, well, what about Kresha? And so obviously, even though my mom was young and he was just a couple years older than her too. But just whenever my mom was giving birth, which she said that was the only time I was on time, and I believe her. And so the story was always that my dad didn't show up for birth, okay? But come to find out, my dad did show up but my mom's brother-in-law, which would, be my aunt's husband at the time, met my dad downstairs and would, he threatened him. And anyway, so there's that. I'm just saying, these are just kind of things that I learned later in life. And I'm like, what? Reconfiguring, and just trying to figure out who I am and where I fit in, or where, how the dynamics work around me. And molded me and continue to mold me. Thank you, Forrest. I'm saying thank you for all of us. New curling iron fun. How about a new stepmommy fun? I wrote her off a long time ago anyways, but I'll take the new curling iron. I love
just
your
went
humor,
there.
and you're so sweet. I hope y'all are doing good. Love you too, Megan. Oh, okay.
Wait, Megan's in here?
Yeah, Megan, I am dying to meet Tim Kosnoff. I tried to reach out to him a long time ago because I didn't know how to deal with the church. This is before you came along. And I saw him on that Vice News story and about how they don't report abuse, the hurt line. And then, so I absolutely admired how Tim learned and read about Mormonism to basically size up who he was, the opponent, because he's he was lawyering for a lot of victims who were being, who were alleging abuse within the church, and then Boy Scouts of America thing. And that's how I learned about how the Boy Scouts were the church was allowed to cross brand, whereas the Catholic Church couldn't cross brand with Boy Scouts of America, I guess, merchandise. I don't know what to call that. Uniforms and things like that, because a Catholic Church would use the cross, whereas the Mormon Church would use Moroni. And so a better part of America did not even acknowledge Mormonism as a Christian, being Christian, or anyway. So the church was able to cross brand and actually reach out to more boys that way. And oh my God, I adore him. I've raved. I felt so relieved whenever I listened to him on Mormon Stories podcast. I was like, oh my God, I need to talk to him. And I didn't reach out to many people. I think maybe 2 people I reached out to, period. And one was a reporter, never heard back from, and the other one was him, never heard back from. And so I don't fault him. I mean, he's a big lawyer and doing great lawyer things. I just wanted to be like, oh my God. So my aunt, I wanted to be like, what the hell do I do? Does my family have any kind of legal to go back on the church? And I don't know, do we have any legal standing here? But that never connected. So please, I will be there tomorrow. She Became Visible is the name of it. I love her too. And the NWO thing, I was like, yes, she gets it. Oh my God. Yes. Yeah. Anyways. All right, guys. Chosen family. Love always wins. Justice for Tylee, Charles, Tammy, JJ, and Joe. Love you guys.
Love always wins.
Good evening. Come and find you a seat. Grab yourself a cup of joe and put up your feet. Let's talk about the latest news and all about true crime. We can make a difference if we put in the time. Good evening. Come and find you a seat. Grab yourself a cup of joe and put up your feet. Let's talk about the latest news and all about true crime. We can make a difference if we put in the time. we put in the time. Yeah. Good evening, good evening. Come and find you a seat. Grab yourself a cup of joe and put up your feet. Let's talk about the latest news and all about true crime.